Let's get ready to join the party!
Get ready for a double dose of Adidas Friday Night Football. First up, the Hamilton Tiger Cats look to rebound from last week's loss as they go down the highway to take on their arch rival, the Toronto Argonauts. Then the focused BC Lions try to up their record to a perfect 3-0. But the Saskatchewan Roughriders will have something to say about that. Doubleheader action next.
Well, anytime spring football, it feels just right. We're gonna kick back, relax, watching football on a Friday night. It's Friday, and we're gonna be hard to take. It's Friday, from coast to coast, the CFL is Canada's game. Well, we're all pumped up to party, and we're ready for a fight. Come on, get back, relax, watching Friday Night Football. Boys are too bad, when the CFL football game is up for grabs. It's Friday Night Football tonight.
Heat is in the air in Toronto. Yes, it always is when the Argos and Ticats get together on Adidas Friday Night Football. Hey folks, James Duffy along with Chris Schultz, a guy who knows all about this rivalry. He's of course an ex-Argo who used to hate the Ticats. Of course he is now objective, correct? Do not forget we have a double dip tonight, BC and Saskatchewan coming up a little later on. But for now, let us talk Hamilton, Toronto, and Chris, your fearless predictions.
Well, I know one thing tonight, and that is the Hamilton Ticats are going to have a good first quarter. Ron Lancaster will demand a professional start because the one thing Ticats have not been able to do is put together two series early in the game effectively. That's very important. On the other side with the Toronto Argonauts, you know what? It's all mental. The amount of assignment, alignment mistakes in the last two football games have been staggering. They have to change that. In the first game, you know what? It was just mistakes. The second game, it became a problem. If they have the same number of mistakes, it's a pattern. They have to break that pattern of mental errors. James, they have to do it tonight.
All right. Now, of course, we are short our quarterback in here tonight because Matt Dunnigan played for both of these teams. We thought we'd let him watch this one in person. He'll call this one tonight alongside Rod Smith. Guys?
James, a couple of good defenses in this game tonight to put a little bit more pressure on the quarterbacks. One, a proven veteran in Danny McManus, Matt, but not coming off his best game, 5 interceptions last week.
No, and I had a chance to visit with Danny Mac, and he knows that he was pushing the ball in places he shouldn't have been. A lot of those interceptions weren't his fault. But Danny McManus is the type of quarterback that can throw a handful of interceptions and still come back and beat you. He's a very resilient quarterback. Here he's just throwing into coverage he knows he's not supposed to be doing. He knows it. He's starting to pull the trigger and force the issue, and that's when you get into trouble as a quarterback. But he's got Ronnie Lancaster on the sidelines for him. Ronnie tells him, Danny, don't you worry about it. Things happen in the Canadian Football League game in the fourth quarter. You're going to have a chance to win this. If it hadn't been for Darren Flutie fumbling the football after a great Irv Smith on the goal line, they win the game 23-22. So it just proves that Danny McManus is a veteran quarterback that can rebound from a very bad game.
As for Jay Barker of the Argos, he does not have the experience of McManus. And what's worse for him, because of injuries and all the change, it's not an experienced offense either.
Yeah, good-looking young man, 6'3", 215, comes from great stock in Alabama. Here he shows you what he can do. Stand in the pocket, showing he's got some courage, throws a strike to English and takes it 63 yards for the score. Those are positive things we'll see from Jay Barker in the future. What you're going to see a lot of right now is Jay Barker making silly young mistakes like this, throwing the wide field out with poor timing, knowing as soon as he lets the ball go, that's going the other way. It's a costly touchdown. Jay Barker should learn from this.
Well, if we're going to talk about quarterbacks, we might be remiss in not mentioning the other Argo QB, Adrian Smith, who was in on that short yardage situation, threw a touchdown pass last week in Winnipeg, and the Ticats are expecting them to use more of it tonight.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Now, this is a very bitter rivalry, but that did not stop the Argos from being kind enough to invite Ticat fans to their tailgate party tonight. Kim Mitchell has the crowd all revved up and ready, and the Argos hoping these Ticats will be easy to tame. Don't count on it. Kickoff is coming up.
Beautiful night for football here at Sky Dome. The weather brought to you by the Weather Network. A warm one, 34 degrees Celsius down at the field. And with the roof open, we got a bit of a wind, 20 kilometers per hour blowing from the west. And the head coach of the Hamilton Tiger Cats in his second year with the Cats, Ron Lancaster, 1998 Coach of the Year, took the Ticats all the way to the Grey Cup last year just to lose by a couple of points. And a couple of weeks ago in Winnipeg got his 100th career win. And his counterpart with the Argos, rookie Jim Barker.
Had a good chance to talk to Jim yesterday. He's still got a very positive outlook on his football team. He's telling them, hey, don't live in the past, just live in the future. He's got this team believing, although they've had a real sluggish start here.
Yeah, I say rookie, but he's had a lot of experience as an assistant coach, about 20 years at the U.S. college level. And in the CFL, it's his fourth year in the Canadian Football League. Started with Montreal in 1996, and for the past 2 years before this, he was an offensive line coach and co-offensive coordinator for Don Matthews with these Argos. But yeah, he's got a tough road to hoe here after an 0-2 start.
0-2 start, you know, a lot of reasons going at, not excuses, but reasons, definite solid reasons in why this football team's struggling. Offensive line problems, receiver problems, just personnel, people falling out.
And it's the 170th meeting between these two old foes, the Ticats and Argos, are underway. And it's Adrian Smith taking the Paulus Balderson kickoff and going nowhere. Taken down at his 20-yard line by number 30, Chris Schelling. And the offense for the Toronto Argonauts come on the field, led by quarterback Jay Barker, his first year as a starter. And Barker, this is who he has. Offensive weapons, the veteran Mike Pinball Clements. He gets Andre Kerwan back at wide receiver. Kerwan was injured for the first 2 games. He had a concussion. Up front, Chad Folk, the only one back in the same position from last year. Chris Gioskas came back last week and is playing at right tackle. 1st and 10, and Barker working out of the shotgun right away. They had wanted to establish a running game, but so far this season they haven't been able to. He passes. And that one seems to be miscommunication for Andre Kerwan, and it falls incomplete.
Yeah, he's just looking for Kerwan to get him in the game early. Yep. Just looking at the defensive line right here, status quo up front. We got 4 of the best in the league. Tiggle in the middle, helping everybody out, controlling it right there. On the edge, you're looking at Steinhauer, Vaughn, Hitchcock. Schelling slides in the halfback as West kicks out to the corner to replace Cobb.
Keith Cobb had a rough game against the Alouettes. They made a change after last week. 2nd down and 10. Barker out a shotgun again, and this too falls incomplete. Intended for Dwayne Demetrician. And so it's 2 and out for the Argos, and their first set of downs, they will be punting deep from their own zone. So not the kind of start, Matt, that the Argonauts wanted to get.
No, but I can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to get the young receiver Andre Kerwan, Doc, involved early. Just miscommunicated there with the young quarterback, and then he pushes Demetrician out there with on McGriggs, which is a good matchup, but I don't think they realize what type of athlete McGriggs is. He can cover anybody on the field.
Noel Prefontaine had 2 punts blocked in Winnipeg last week. One of them led to a touchdown right away when Milt Stegall returned at 52 yards. He stands at about his 7th. Prefontaine 2nd in the CFL in punting yardage. He's got a good average over 47, and that one is pretty good as it hangs up and takes the Ticats back inside their 40-yard line. On the move to the left is Curtis Jackson, finally ridden out of bounds after a punt of 49 yards. And the treatment he gets out of bounds gets the crowd stirred up a little bit here at Sky Dome. J.P. Darshan on the tackle. And Danny McManus coming in for his first set of downs. He had 5 interceptions last week, but one of the best quarterbacks this game has seen. He is moving up the charts in terms of passing yardage. We'll have more on that in a moment, but this is who he has to work with. A couple of Canadians. This is wideouts and Corey Grant and Andrew Gregg, and of course the great slot backs Darren Flutie and Mike Moriali with Ronald Williams and Eric Lapointe. And up front, the veteran Carl Coulter at center. One change at left guard. Tim Prenzen is in for Bob Beveridge. 1st and 10. Ticats swing pass. Complete to Williams right away. Gets hit hard at midfield, but a good gain on 1st down by the Ticats. Martavius Houston in on the tackle, Matt.
Yeah, looking at the Argo defense, the team's going to have to keep them in this ball game early. They've been doing a great job thus far. Up front, Doesn't change much. They got Haley and Maxey clogging up the middle. Got Young moved up in the line of scrimmage. Got O'Shea in the middle. Two of the best corners on the outside. Bryce is the only new face in the secondary, starting at free safety tonight, taking over for Brad Elberg.
Alundis Bryce, the newcomer in that secondary for the Argos. Short yardage, about 4 to go. The handoff to Williams, and he has that and more. Across the Argo 50, and this Ticat offense is in business right away.
That's exactly what Danny McManus wants to do, Rod, is get into second and short situations where they can run the football and pick up those easy first downs. That's just good hat-on-hat at the point of attack there, moving that defensive line out by that right side of the Hamilton offensive line, Burns and Hack.
Danny McManus passed Bernie Filoni, the late Bernie Filoni, great Ticat, in all-time passing. We'll have more in a second as he hands off to Eric Lapointe. Good gain along the ground. But McManus closing in on as he moves up the chart. He stands 13th overall, but Eric Lapointe was quite a story 2 weeks ago in Winnipeg.
Maybe oh yeah, the kid just got off his player of the week. He was just running the football. I think he was running scared. First time in the Canadian Football League, but he had a tremendous game. That was a play right there. Shows me that he's a little nervous. He'd pick up his speed a little bit. He would have more out of that one.
187 yards against the Bombers 2 weeks ago, offensive player of the week. Sets up a 2nd and 5. The shotgun snap goes high. And McManus has no choice but to fall on it way back at the Tiger Cats 42. A huge loss.
A big play already. What a terrible feeling for the quarterback. That's almost as bad as the ball just sailing over your head, and you know the only thing you can do is fall down on it and take the loss and put your defense on the football field. Just a miscommunication. Danny does a good job of securing the football so he doesn't give up the major.
And it's a 29-yard loss, so what looked like a good roll there for the Ticats after getting a first down a couple of plays before. They were now punting. Paulus Ballison standing inside his 30. Good break for the Argos on the high snap over the head of Danny McManus. And lots of time for Ballison to get it away, and Eric Blunt has it at his 22. Finds a hole. Eric Blunt still on his feet. He has room. Eric Blunt. Rob Hitchcock has him, and Blunt is down across midfield.
Just a great opportunity there for Rob Hitchcock to make an open-field tackle after a great run by Eric Blunt. Hitchcock's used to doing that, Rod. Playing free safety. Great tackle in the open field on a tremendous runner.
A 33-yard return for Eric Blunt. Argos in business. Scoreless tie. We'll be back.
Adidas Friday Night Football is brought to you by Adidas. Long live sport. Castrol GTX. Drive hard. And by Molson Canadian. Here's where we get Canadian.
Argo football at midfield after a 33-yard punt return by Eric Blunt. Barker to throw again, complete to Andre Kerwan. Keeps his feet. First down and a lot more as Rob Hitchcock rides him out of bounds at the 26-yard line, Hamilton.
This is exactly what you want to see. Coming out early, young quarterback just pitching and catching, getting a good rhythm. Talked to Kerwan last week. I told him I wanted to see something. Been expecting a lot from him, and he's coming up big already for us.
Andre Kerwan, he suffered a concussion in an exhibition game against the Montreal Alouettes, so he had to skip the first 2 games. But back this time, and one thing the Argos have been missing, making use of their wideouts, and they do that time to the tune of a 29-yard gain down to the Hamilton 26. Barker out of shotgun, looking to his right, pumps, nowhere to go except down as he tries to throw it away, and a flag is down as Joe Montford wrapped him up.
Pouring salt in the wound right there. Intentional grounding looks like it's going to be the call, Rod. He had pinball on the flat, and he chose to pull up. Montford coming off the edge right here.
Toronto number 7. It's 2nd down.
Coming hard right there. Montford just makes a nice speed move. Jay pulls up. He had Mike pinball on the flat. Decides to pull up, and Joe gets him another one. Remember, last year he had 2 3-sack games against the Argonauts, and looks like he's well on his way to having that again tonight.
Man, that was an intentional grounding call. So it is 2nd and 20 for the Argos. As Barker steps in, gets hit again. Joe Higgins, The linebacker coming in buries Barker, and the Argos are moving backwards.
Don Southern says that he's going to pick his spots to put the pressure on the quarterback. Well, I'd say he's picking them right now. He's got him coming from all angles. Hagens just comes untouched and puts his helmet right up underneath Jay Barker's and plants him to the turf here. What? Oh, folks, that hurts. Well, that'll get your attention in a hurry.
And that's from a man who knows the feeling on occasion, I trust.
Oh, man.
You can't play in the league as long as you did.
It's called getting stapled to the turf.
And so now it is a field goal situation, not nearly as attractive one, too, as the ball will be placed by Jimmy Kemp out of the 48. Jan Giancola, the rookie, will make the try as long as this season was 35. This one barely has the legs. Just gets across that crossbar, and a 47-yarder, and Giancola is pumped up about it. The Argos come away with some points. They lead the Ticats 3-0. The Argos are first on the board, and what started it all was Eric Blunt's big punt return, Matt.
Just getting great blocks here at the point of attack. Blunt does everything else with speed. Good job of laying off there. And then you got Rob Hitchcock coming over. Rob's a free safety, so he's used to being in this position. Plays him inside out, uses the boundary as an extra defender, and makes sure that he doesn't cut back on him, and makes a great open field tackle on Eric Blunt. Eric Blunt coming up big for the Argonauts.
That was a 33-yarder that got them to midfield. They got down to the Hamilton 29, pushed back, but then Dan Giancola with a 47-yard field goal has given the Argonauts an early lead, 3-0, and kicking off. It's Prefontaine with the kickoff. Taken down by Curtis Jackson. Inside his 20, but lots of room up the middle. Taken down at the 34. It's Kelly Wiltshire, number 26, and on the tackle for the Argonauts. The keys for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Matt, coming into this game.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Hamilton, and what they've got to do is Barker's got to be patient. They've got to be patient on offense and just make sure they don't turn the football over. It's a situation where they have to dominate up front with the defensive line, and they got to make Toronto move the football down the length of the field.
Quick pass to Darren Flutie, and not much. A gain of about 3 yards. Up across the 35 to about the 37-yard line. A combination that's worked well over the years, not only in Hamilton, but in Edmonton before that, and in BC before that. Won a Grey Cup together in 1994.
A good situation for him again. Second and medium, second and short. That's what you want offensively. Now you're in control.
See what McManus chooses to do here. With 3 out to his left, he throws over the middle. Clifton Abraham reached over to get a hand down, but it falls incomplete. And the Ticats will be punting.
That's one, want to be a little quicker. Want to get the ball to the receiver just a little bit quicker there. Danny Mac knows it. Questionable. I know Glenn Suter is watching this one. Questionable coming over the top there. Offensive guys calling that's a flag, and defensive guys saying that's a good play.
Too bad he wasn't here so you could have that discussion with him, right?
Exactly.
He'd love that. Osbaldiston standing at his 24 to kick this one away. So good work by that Argonaut defense, ranked number 1 in the CFL after 2 games in terms of yardage allowed per game. That unit has been steady and has been, for the most part, in this game in the early going. Eric Blunt, the 35. And not much more as he gets up to cross to about the 37, where Barker and that Argonaut offense will go to work again. And some keys for the Argos as they look for their first victory of this young season, Matt.
Yeah, they just have to be smart with the football. They got to be smart with the football, not turn it over. They got to put the game's outcome in their defense and special teams' hand. They have to be smart with the football. They got to continue to dominate defensively. They're just doing a super job of that. Kept them in the 2 previous games. And they got to improve on special teams. Obviously gave up 28 points in the 4th quarter last week.
Jim Barker is smiling now, but it hasn't been all smiles, of course, with a lot of injuries on both the offensive line and for his receivers as well. 2 more went down this week. Barker throwing and finds a receiver. Another big completion. Working on the corner, Frank West. It's Andre Kerwan with another catch and an Argo first down.
Yeah, this is exactly what they're trying to do. They've got quads to the field, meaning this is the field over here. They isolate these two people right here, give Kerwin all kinds of room, and Jay just lays it up and lets Kerwin go to the football. Great scheme. Just play pitch and catch, eliminate the other 10, and just let's play pitch and catch, you and me, Andre.
Early confidence boost for the Argos, but early movement on that Toronto offensive line. They will be penalized here as someone left early, and it's whistled down right away. A procedure call against Toronto.
Procedure. Toronto number 54. First down repeated.
And Patrick Kessie, the right guard, is the one to move early, and so it'll be 1st and 15.
A little nervous there. Moving football on the field, feeling good. Wanting to get the jump start on the defensive line. Hey, he's coming into his own. He's going to be a fine football player for the Argonauts.
Barker will work out of the shotgun again on 1st and 15. This time the movement appears to be the Ticats. Flags down once again. Didn't notice an Argonaut offensive lineman move. We'll have to wait and see what the call is. Joe Montfort jumping across.
Yeah, Rod, good for, if this is in fact against Hamilton, that's just good heads-up play on Jay Barker. Coming back, getting a foul back, but let's see. It's yet to be determined.
As Don Southern, the defensive coordinator, looks on, sees it is against his unit.
He got it back. Good for him.
And so we'll be back to square one. Southern, of course, the former head coach of this team.
Offside. Hamilton number 45. First down repeated.
Big call against Lamar McGriggs, but Southern didn't have the success as a head coach of the team, but known as one of the best defensive minds in football, and what a great move to keep him on by Ron Lancaster.
Yeah, unique situation he has defensively, too. He's only got one other defensive coach with him, and that's Dennis McPhee, and their communication is fantastic because they don't lose anything with all different types of people being over there.
So we're back to 1st and 10. And Barker, shotgun again, and a completion to Kerwin. He likes Andre Kerwin early in this game. That's his 3rd catch. And it's a good gain on 1st down of about 7 yards.
Just another opportunity working in the boundary. Zone coverage. Ball's delivered on time, and pretty soon they're going to have to start doing something to take Kerwin away. And when you have that offensively, you make a defense adjust to one receiver. Now you're dictating the game to the defense, and that's what you're looking for.
He has 56 yards receiving already. Flags down again. Whistle blows. They hand off to Eric Blunt. But they'll have to play this one again. This one against the Argonauts again. More early movement. Lots of flags on this drive so far.
Rod, again, I'm going to point it out to y'all that...
Procedure. Toronto number 58. Second down repeated.
That they had themselves in a 2nd and medium situation, which you can pass or you can run. So you have both options at your offensive fingertips. And now they put themselves in a 2nd and long. And look for Hamilton here to just play either soft or bring some heat and try to force the issue.
Chris Gioskas, formerly a guard in his 10th season, is in at right tackle. So in 2nd and long, pressure down. Ball comes loose. And I believe the Argos got it back. But Joe Montfort in there again. And it'll be 3rd and long for the Argos as Jay Barker is not getting a lot of time back there.
Yeah, great look right here. You got Rob Hitchcock showing blitz here, so the young quarterback's thinking he's got to get rid of it quick. Then all of a sudden they drop off, and everybody drops into coverage, into zone coverage, and they get pressure on the quarterback, but just rushing 4 here. That's just great disguise by the Hamilton Ticats.
And so the punt by Prefontaine is another good one. His first was 49 yards. This one chasing the Ticats inside their 10. Curtis Jackson finally taken down across the 15 to the 17-yard line. The Argos have shown they can move the ball. They had to kick it that time, but they do have the 3-0 lead on Adidas Friday Night Football. 3-0 Argos at Skydome. Rod Smith and Matt Dunnigan, as well as David Amber, who joins us down on the sidelines. David?
Rod, although the Hamilton Tiger Cats defenses look great so far, their first quarter scoring woes continue. They have not scored a point in the first quarter in any of their games this season. They have a little over 5 minutes to change that here against the Argos. They've given up 21 points. Starting out slow isn't helping them, and you can look to their quarterbacks for that. 6 interceptions. That leads the CFL. Back to you guys.
Thank you, David. And that was certainly the big story last week against the Montreal Alouettes. In Winnipeg the week before in their opener, they rolled in the second half, won at 39-9. Eric Lapointe, his second carry of the game, and he gets it up to the 20, a gain of 3 yards. It'll be 2nd and 7. For the rookie from Mount Allison, 2-time Heck Crichton Trophy winner, is the top player in Canadian University football.
Hey, he's looking to cut back here, but Danny Mack does not come around the backside to hold the defensive end from crashing down, so he's got 2 people waiting on him when he cuts back looking for a hole.
He had a big first game. As mentioned, 187 yards. Only 9 yards last week as that throw goes over Mike Moriali and falls incomplete. So just like that, the Ticats will have to punt again, and the first quarter offensive woes continue.
Yeah, just a situation here where Moriali's coming off the line of scrimmage and he's trying to get inside. And Danny Mack's just trying to get him on air, meaning the defender is off of him, and all they need is 6 yards. I'm just going to throw you the football as soon as you come off the line of scrimmage, and they just miscommunicate there just a little bit. We talked over the phone on that one, Rod, and he says he had those opportunities last week, and he was going to try to capitalize them here. That's an indication of what they want to do. They just didn't get her done.
And so Paulus Bolliston in the game again, and so too is Eric Blunt to return it. Bolliston in his 14th season, standing back at his 5. And a long wait to get this snap he finally does. He gets up, beautiful punt. Driving Blunt back inside his 35. Finds room on the left side. And Eric Blunt gets up to the 50, just across. So having another good night on a 17-yard punt return.
Yeah, you know, Jim Barker, he's got all kinds of problems now, and it starts with the offensive line. When you lose people like Jude St. John, Dwayne Morgan, and Mr. Williams, just 3 quality offensive line from last year. The only returning man you have is Chad Polk, your center. There's going to be a lot of adjustments up front. Very long period of time it takes for the offensive line to gel together. They got to work together, get your calls together. It's a long situation. Be patient, and this is something that is unique to the Canadian Football League.
And here's something else that's been a bit unique this season: the Argos short yardage offense. Adrian Smith comes in at quarterback. That time the ball goes to Darren Joseph on a short gain. But Matt, we saw this 2 weeks ago against Montreal, and they used it a lot. In fact, it led to a touchdown last week in Winnipeg.
They've had tremendous success with this, Rod. And it's a situation where I've talked to Don Southern how he's going to defend it, and he says we're going to wad it up. They're going to submarine inside with their defensive linemen and just trying to create a ball in there.
And that is the defensive coordinator for the Argos, but Gary Etchevader is responsible for this play. This short yardage offensive scheme. That time Eric Blunt takes it on 2nd and long, and the Ticats said they were going to be ready for it, and it certainly looks like they are. That is actually lost yardage. It's going nowhere.
You basically have 2 defensive coordinators going at it, Gary Etcheberry and Don Southern. Don says he's going to clog things up in the middle, and here he does a good job, makes him force the outside. He's got outside leverage, and they come up and make an easy tackle.
A look at the other defensive coordinator and Don Southern saying, job well done. Shaking hands there with Mike Campbell. This came back after a year off, but the Argos punting. Prefontaine inside his 40 to get it away. Another nice punt. His last one was 59. And that chases the Ticats into their end zone, and they'll just concede the point. Special teams so far working the Argos' way after a disastrous game last week. A 64-yard punt single for Noel Prefontaine, and the Argos go up by 4-0 the score.
We're seeing his true leg today. 2 weeks ago, we saw him struggle a little bit his first outing, and he settled down tremendously, and he's showing us the strength of his leg.
He's a non-import, but a product of San Diego State, where he's a terrific punter there in college. So, Danny McManus, not a good first quarter. No points on the board, and aside from that first drive where they picked up a first down quickly, it hasn't been good. Started 1 for 10 last week against the Alouettes. 1st and 10. He'll be passing. Picked off. Intercepted. Kelly Wiltshire. McManus picked off, and the Argos have the football on the Ticat 30. The big plays have all been going Toronto's way so far in this one.
Kelly Wiltshire just kind of gets low on the backside here. He's right here, folks. He just kind of gets low there, and he just drops off. Looks like he's going to blitz. Danny Mack doesn't see him at all. Thinks he's got a wide open Ryan Williams dragging across the field. Kelly Wiltshire's got a gift. Not the way Danny Mack wanted to start out this football game.
Some congratulations for Wiltshire given by his teammates on the sideline. Great field position for the Argos to build on their lead. They're up by 4 now. Barker, the pump fake, and lets it go wide open. It's caught down inside the 2. The 1-yard line. It's the pinball. Mike Clements. 1st and goal, Argos.
Just a great wheel route and execution by Pinball and Jay Barker. You can't see Pinball here, but he comes out of the backfield and he runs a wheel route right up the sideline. A pump fake by Jay, stands in there, throws a dime, and then Rob Hitchcock comes over and ensures that he doesn't get in the end zone with a great hit. Good plays on both sides.
In his 11th year, Pinball sets up what could be an Argo touchdown, and this time we see the short yardage offense coming in the way it usually is brought in the game of football, for short yardage. And they've had a lot of practice using it in just about every other spot in the field. But if they can punch it in here, they can give the Argos a sizable lead with a flag at the play. Adrian Smith trying to take it in, loses the ball. The Ticats have it. We'll have to wait for the call. What a turn of events this could be, as Jeff Cummins holds the ball up. Adrian Smith tried to take it in, but coughed it up before he could cross the line. And this guy, Jeff Cummins, came up with it, still waiting for the call. Flags went down shortly after the snap of the football. A conference being staged at about the 4-yard line.
Yeah, Rod, speculation. You know, I thought that he crossed the goal line before
offside.
Football.
Hamilton, number 22. 1st down repeated.
Well, that's a break.
Put him to gate everything right there.
You can be sure Jim Barker's breathing a sigh of relief now, as it looks like that short yardage unit is coming off, and they'll go to a standard offense again.
I can't believe this. They've had such tremendous success with the double tights down in this situation here, and they're changing it up a little bit. They got Barker in a critical situation in the red zone, which is unusual for him. Let's see how he does.
1st down again at the 1-yard line. With a 4-0 lead, Barker keeps it, and he is in.
That's what you do. You spread them out, and you make those gaps wider, and you score easy touchdowns. I'd like to see that. Way to go, Jim.
Jay Barker with the Argo touchdown. And it is all Boatman so far in this one at Skydome. As Barker greets Barker on the sideline.
Yeah, I was referring to Jim Barker on the sideline because he and I have had great, long conversations about this offense, and certainly with Gary Echeverry as well. I'm in the belief of spread things out and make the gaps wider. He's saying he's going to create more gaps by putting everybody in the box, and it's just a matter of opinion, and it's worked well for him. And this time they go to the more conventional style of spreading things out, and Jay Barker has an easy score.
So it's somewhat surprising if you considered the Tiger Cats prohibitive favorites in this game, as Dan Giancola will try to make it an 11-point Argo lead. The last time the Ticats came to Skydome, they won prohibitively by almost 40 points, 45-8. However, there was a time before, earlier in the year, when Lancaster brought his team in. They were considered favorites, an upstart team, and they lost back in last August, 42-6 to the Argos. So you never know with these two teams, and I suppose no one knows better than you do, having played on both sides of this rivalry.
Well, you said it right there, Rod. That's the key. You never know with these two teams. When these two teams get together, anything can happen.
The convert attempt by Dan Giancola is up and through, and it is indeed an 11-point game.
So you look at the end zone shot here with the score. Jay Barker takes it in. He spreads everybody out. He spreads everybody out. You've got 6 people in the box, which they shouldn't be. Somebody's uncovered somewhere in the field. Jay sees that everybody's in the box here. He's going to go right around the outside here, folks. Takes the easy score. He's got Calvin Tingle taking a shot on him there, but you got to be able to take that. That's one you'll take, and that's one you'll try to get in there most every time. Some big people going at it right there, but Jay Barker's strong, young, and tough. 6'3", 215 pounds. He could take that. Now, for me, I might be in a little different story. But, of course, that would have been Suter hitting me instead of somebody else.
Getting the shots in even, especially while he's not here.
Yeah.
Well, Barker, playing sparingly last year, did have 3 rushing touchdowns. And coming into this game was the Argos' leading rusher, which was not necessarily a good sign, considering they wanted to get that ground game going with, obviously, a running back like Eric Blunt. But he gets it in now in a very critical game early on in this season for this Toronto club, looking for its first win. Curtis Jackson, number 87, Hamilton, back to receive this kickoff by Prefontaine, and Jackson will take it at his 20. Octavius Houston hits him, but Jackson stays on his feet, trying to get some room outside, and gets ridden out of bounds by Bryce at about the Hamilton 38.
Toronto capitalizes on a Hamilton turnover and then turn it into a major. 3 plays, 30 yards. You only took 111 off the clock, but I tell you, that's what you have to do if you're going to beat quality football teams like the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Take advantage of turnovers. Put points on the board. Not field goals, but majors, and they were able to do that this time out.
You see the key play, Mike Clements, that 29-yard catch for the veteran from Barker. Got it down to the 1-yard line. And has put Hamilton in an early hole here at Skydome. Miserable first quarter for the Ticats, ticking down with 38 seconds to go. On 1st and 10, McManus trying to pass again over the middle, nearly picked off again. Alundis Bryce with pressure on McManus. Bryce nearly had a pick.
Looks like Danny Mack wants to hit somebody off the line of scrimmage. It doesn't have to have it, so he hangs in there, hangs in there, hangs in there. And we got Maxey coming off the edge right here, late on Danny McManus. Danny sees the people. He wants to hit him low. Now he's looking back. Fires a little high. Maxey gets a little lick on him there. It's a little lay me down right there. Nothing major.
Under 20 seconds now and counting until quarter time. 2nd and 10. Ticats from the 38. Out of the shotgun again is McManus. Has lots of time. It's complete. A first down, Hamilton. To Mike Morreale near midfield. And with 1 second on the clock until quarter time, the Ticats have something to build on.
Yeah, just running all hooks here. You know, when things are going bad and things aren't going as smoothly you want them to, it looks like a pressure defense. Everybody drops off. The receiver's going to hook in these holes right here. Danny Mack finds one right in this area there. Has an easy completion. Danny Mack will take that 24/7, throwing in holes in zone defenses.
This will be the last play of the quarter, barring a penalty. Right at midfield, McManus throws and completes again. And Ronald Williams, who is met with thunder by Antonius Bonner, and very little gain at all of about a yard. A good first 15 minutes for the Toronto Argonauts against their rivals. It's 11-0. Duthie and Schultz standing by at CFL Live Control.
You're watching Adidas Friday Night Football, and we're at the quarter. Brought to you by 1-800-HI-IT'S-ME. It's the cheapest way to call. Collect.
Hey, everybody, I would like to take a moment to read a quote from a renowned prognosticator. Quote, "I guarantee the Ticats will have a very strong first quarter," unquote. That, of course, Chris Schultz in our pregame show.
I thought it was an analyst.
I think that I speak on behalf of the whole nation when I say you was wrong.
Well, I was wrong. I'm surprised, too, because really the Hamilton Ticats, when you look at what they can do up front, I saw Ronald Williams gain positive yardage in 3 or 4 different plays. I saw Eric Lapointe gain positive yardage. Danny McManus is struggling, and you would think at this point in this game, the third game, he would have that rhythm down, but he doesn't have it. Rely on your running game, because if Hamilton turns over the football, they're going to allow Toronto to have a big issue, and that's confidence. Run the football, be physical up front, play simple football. I think then they can win.
Argos had that one good drive, but they've been far from perfect offensively too.
The mental errors in this football team are outstanding. I mean, it's unbelievable. You look at this tough guy offense. The two guards, Pumeli and Kessie, actually pull and they hit each other. You cannot do that in professional football. They are supposed to pull in tandem and lead Blunt all the way down the field for a touchdown. What happens to Eric Blunt? He gets the hard hit in the hip and he comes up very slowly. The mental errors are killing Toronto, and that's just another example of another one.
But they do have an 11-0 lead. And by the way, did you ever run into anybody like that?
Maybe once or twice, but still, you can't do that at this level of football.
Second quarter action now. Let's send it back to Rod and Matt.
All right, thank you, James. And Danny McManus is now 12th all-time in career passing yards. That's the good news. 27 yards in the first quarter. That's the bad. And there's the guy he passed for number 12 on the list. Number 12 himself, the great Russ Jackson, who had 12 seasons in the CFL, all with the Ottawa Rough Riders. What a great quarterback he was, and a color commentator for Hamilton Tiger Cat Radio. Russ Jackson smiling about it now. Danny Mac has just passed his mark.
Rod, you look at him and you talk to Russ Jackson, and I've had the good fortune of being able to do that a couple times over this past week, and looks like he can still play.
He does. He does.
This guy's in great shape. Tremendous man.
What a wonderful career he had growing up in Ottawa and following him. And talk about going out a winner. Won Grey Cups in 68 and 69, his last 2 years in the CFL. So it is second and long, Ticats to start the second quarter. McManus passing again and dangerously close to getting intercepted again. It's Kelly Wiltshire in on the coverage of Trevor Shaw. And the stats in the first quarter with an 11-0 Argo lead. You won't see too many surprises. Not a good quarter, Matt, for the Ticats.
No, I think if you would have asked anybody who started this game and said that Toronto's going to have an 11-0 lead at the end of the first quarter, they would have told you you're crazy. But that's what we're looking at here. Fairly even stats. You know, Argos, they haven't established a rushing game all year. They got one there, but more importantly, they took advantage of a turnover and winning 11-0.
The stats brought to you by Castrol GTX. Drive hard. And a hard drive again for the Ticats as they have to punt again. Paul Osbaldiston to kick it away at his 45. Low but driving to chase Eric Blunt down to his 10. Down to his 5, I should say, as he gets it across the 10. And more! Eric Blunt! Here we go! Breaks it up on the left side across the Argo 45. What a day! Returning the punch Eric Blunt is having. That one 32. And because of number 25, the Argos are in good shape again. Well, Matt, I said the Argos were in great shape. That was before I realized a clipping penalty has brought them back to the 3-yard line.
Yeah, you know, it's questionable. It could go either way in this situation. You know, you got Mr. Higgins here just trying to get back in the play. Hamilton kind of picks him in the back a little bit there. You see it right here. He's coming into your screen right now. 15 right here. Boom. Takes it right in the back right there. Questionable. Really close call. I tell you, Hamilton will take it right now the way they're struggling.
Sure, and it negates a 32-yard return that would have had the Argos up near midfield again. Instead, a much bigger challenge for Jay Barker in that Argonaut offense, as he will start from his 3. Worst field position of the game he's had to work with so far. And handing off a rare running play out of a normal set for the Argos. Eric Blunt takes it and gets it across the 5, but it'll still be second and long. Oh, Darren Joseph, excuse me, carrying the football. Backup running back. And Darren Joseph has had a long career in the CFL. Stops in Ottawa and the Saskatchewan Rough Riders as well. Coming over to the Argos as a free agent this year.
You know he liked it in Ottawa, too, being from there and going to the University of Ottawa. He's a load now. 6 foot 218, he's packing a punch.
Reliable running back. Backing up to the Argos and in there. Barker on the run. Jay Barker gets out of the trouble this time. Gets up to the 20. Slides down and still takes some punishment there. It's a first down, Toronto. Rob Hitchcock in on the tackle.
And Rob Hitchcock again is trying to fake cover zero when he looks like he's in a blitz situation coming down low in the tackle box. You can see it right here, folks. He's down low disguising the blitz. And then he drops off, but they do bring two people from the backside, run a little stunt right there. Barker sees it, makes a nice little hole right here, and then scampers and then finds an easy spot here so he doesn't have to call 911. Goes in and lays down there, folks, and just lives to play another play.
How were you in that open field running? You're always a good running quarterback. Did you like the slide at the end, or did you?
No, I was going to try to deliver a blow as
You're
opposed
take
to
on
tape
safety?
one. Yeah, messed up a shoulder or something. I had to break something in a hurry.
Your coach would be telling you, though, too valuable to just slide, to go in there and take someone head on. Talk about head on running inside. Argo football, excuse me. Ticats take over. Gonzalo Floyd with it on the fumble by Eric Blunt.
That's what we talked about. You know, they had to be secure with the football. They had to take care of it. They had to put it in their defense and special teams' hands. And this will kill a team that is struggling for their first victory. And Blunt's just trying to get in there, and it looks like from the backside, somebody, I can't tell.
Looked like Gonzalo Floyd. Well, Floyd fell on it afterwards. Mike Philbrick and Mike Campbell in there.
Yeah, somebody got an arm in there and just knocked out of Blunt's hands as soon as he tried to secure it from Barker's hands. Boy, it's a big turnover. That's costly, but, you know, they got to come up big and look for the Argo defense to come up with something big here. They've been doing it all year. They can do it again.
The crowd gets stirred up, and you can be sure there are a lot of Ticat fans in this crowd, with about a 45-minute trip down the QEW to get here to Skydome. Oh, big defensive play. Inoki Brechterfield meets Eric Lapointe, meets them in the Ticat backfield, and Hamilton loses yards on first down.
Well, it's a fire hydrant coming up there and popping you right there. 5'9", 245. I say it's about 15 light. He just stunts hard inside here. Nobody blocks him, and he's got an easy shot on Mr. Lapointe.
Ticats to pass. End zone look. Knocked away by Clifton Abraham. Intended for number 2, Corey Grant of the Ticats. But instead, it's a field goal situation for Hamilton. McManus was looking end zone.
Yeah, great job by Clifton Abraham. He's only 5'9", going against Morelli, who's 6'3". He plays good position, little bump and running down the football field there. I think if the ball would have been thrown behind Morelli, has a chance to go up and get it, but credit Clifton Abraham for coming up with a big play when he's outmatched by 4 or 5 inches.
Well, this ball will be spotted at about the 35-yard line for the Argos, easily within, of course, the great range of Paulus Balliston, who sent the Ticats to the Grey Cup with a 54-yarder last year in the Eastern Final in the final play. Threads the needle there. And the Ticats are finally on the board here in the second quarter. 35-yard field goal, Osbaldiston. Argos still up by 8 on Adidas Friday Night Football.
Friday Night Football tonight.
Always a good time for football, whether you watch it on TV or show up at the stadium. And speaking of which, the next home game for the Argos, August 6th against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. You want a ticket? 416-341-5162. And a pretty good, enthusiastic crowd out here tonight. And you know they're not all Boatman fans, Matt.
You got that right. Hamilton only gets 3 off that turnover.
They get the 3 points. Paulus Balliston kicks it off here in the second quarter. Trailing 11-3. Eric Blunt, short return, taken down at his 27.
By who? Ardo Vartanian, Valdosta State.
There
boy.
you go. You're dying to get that in.
Oh, man, 94 jumping in there, running down the field, 6'2", 275. Folks, that's where I coached for the last 2 years before I took this job, so I kind of partial to that young man down there.
Valdosta, Georgia. And he's in there tonight.
Jay Barker knows where Valdosta is, I can tell you that much.
Product of Alabama, where many a great quarterback has played, and this is the all-time passing leader in Crimson Tide history. That's pretty good.
You can just see the composure in that kid, just standing there.
Hands off, out of the shotgun to Blunt. And on first down, he gets across the 30 for pickup of a couple of yards. It'll still be second and long, Argos. Blunt coming over from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. the offseason. And the Argos brought him over. They made the trade, Matt, because they wanted to get a ground game going, something they didn't have last year.
Yeah, and then I talked to the coaches yesterday, and they tell me they're eliminating out of their package, and they've got 2 running plays. How much are you going to be able to establish with 2 running plays? You know, it's counteracting each other, but we'll see how it unfolds.
And what's compounded the problem, of course, all the changes in offensive line and injuries they've had to endure. Speaking of which, Barker out of the shotgun under pressure again, and they have him down. Toronto will be punting again with more pressure up front from the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Yeah, just good pressure. I mean, they're showing blitz again. They've got all these people up on the line of scrimmage showing you blitz, and they just causing confusion and problems for the offensive line. And Jace tries to step up and find a hole to scramble through, and there's just too many bodies in there, and he takes the loss.
And did I see 53, Joe Montford, wrapping him around the ankles for yet another sack?
That'd be a good bet.
Wow, what a tear he's been on.
Boy, talk about him, and don't forget about my man out in Montreal, Swack, the sack master, Alfred Payton, had 5 last night.
Payton's had a great start so far this season. Had a good one here at Toronto a couple of weeks ago. The punt by Prefontaine. And it is taken there by Eurocius Parker. He was a great return man in college. 8th in the NCAA in punt return yardage last year. A 53-yard punt. The rookie season as a head coach for Jim Barker. We asked him earlier how he was enjoying this change in roles.
I'm enjoying what I'm doing because, I believe we're doing the right things. I can't worry about things we can't control. All I can worry about is things we can control. And our players have been great. When you have high character players like we have in this organization, any coach would love coaching in this environment.
Went to school at USC. Once was a roommate, a former NFL linebacker with Cleveland, Clay Matthews. On first down, big pass complete. Flutie. Danny McManus hooks up with Flutie, and it's down inside the Argo 35. Big first down, Hamilton.
You just see Flutie just time his waggle up perfectly on the left side here. He's just out of the frame here. Danny Mac gets plenty of time. Flutie pushes Abraham out of his back pedal, turns around completely. Danny Mac throws a strike. I'm talking about right on the numbers, makes all the difference in the world. He turns it up and he gets some yaks, folks. That's yards after the catch. Gets 10 more yards after the catch.
The 8th leading receiver in CFL history, over 8,000 yards. The handoff, Ronald Williams still driving as Mike O'Shea and a few of his friends try to take Williams down. It's a short gain. It'll be 2nd and long. Ticats, but in Argo territory.
Well, Danny McManus just amazes me. You see him struggle. It doesn't look like he feels comfortable down there. Then he throws a strike like that, and it just kind of puts you on your heels a bit and kind of takes you aback, and you kind of go, my goodness, was that pretty? It was just incredible strike there.
Can one play take what's been a pretty bad night and just turn it right around?
Without question. It can lock you in just like that. You can be in a zone for the rest of the game.
Let's see what kind of zone McManus gets in now. I can tell you they're in the Argo zone. Looking for more yardage here, looking for the end zone. Just overthrown. He had Andrew Grigg, but just missed.
That's when he wants back. Andrew Grigg was supposed to go to the corner there. The corner is high. Danny Mac sees it, and he just lays it out there too far for him. Just a good-looking shot out of here. Danny Mac puts a little air on it. Andrew breaks his route because we've got Donald Smith out here laying high in the corner. He's supposed to go over here. He just continues to go right up the seam, which is a great read by Andrew Grigg, and Danny Mac just threw it just a little too far.
Thinking end zone. Instead, they'll have to think field goal, looks like. Osbaldiston out to try it. And Flutie to put it down at the Argo 39. 1 for 1 so far in this game. Plenty of distance and plenty of accuracy. As 3 more go on the board for the Ticats as they're chipping away at this Argo lead, which was 11, is down to 5. You're watching Adidas Friday Night Football on TSN. get you ready for some Canadian football with a great Canadian musician, Kim Mitchell. This is the scene before the game. Little tailgate party outside Skydome before the fans filed in. Nice way to get you going.
I can't believe what more people. It's just, you know, it looks like an amazing crowd down there. Last week they had 3 bands. It's just a tremendous party they're putting on before every game.
You know, it's reminiscent of what they used to do when you played here in '91, the Grey Cup year, when they had something on the go all the time.
Well, my little brother was in charge of putting the parties together.
Out of the shotgun, Barker on first down to Andre Kerwine, who's had a fairly busy night. Considering Argo receivers, flags down after the fact. Little extracurricular stuff going on. It was no gain. Taken down right away after catching it.
So typical of a Hamilton-Toronto game to get the tempers going. You gotta love it.
Well, as I said to you before, you're an ex-Argo and an ex-Ticat. Wait for the call.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Toronto number 54. It's second down.
Called against the guard Patrick Kessie after the play.
Little frustration here coming in late. Number 54, Patrick Kessie. That's just a no-no. That can hurt somebody. You know, it's a shame that he's not doesn't have more of a penalty thrown on him, because he can end somebody's career with a shot like that. I honestly believe that there should be a stiffer penalty there instead of just a 15-yard penalty and move the offense back.
As it stands, it's 2nd and 25. Quick movement, Philbrick, and he gets the flag for it. Mike Philbrick will probably be called offside here. It's a short gain for the Argos. Eric Blunt had the football. Once again, I did not notice any motion on the Argo line.
Yeah, they caught Michael Philbrick right there over the nose. Big number 77. I call him Superman because he comes in a suit, he takes that off and puts on his equipment every day in practice.
Offside, Hamilton number 77, second down repeated.
Yeah, they caught the big guy.
Also call him the Brick.
Yeah, Brick.
With good reason.
He's a plugger. He opens up things for Calvin Tagle and McGriggs and Hagen's back there. He's an unsung hero on the Hamilton D-line.
And one of the 2 Ticats, part of the Carlton Ravens program that is no more, sadly folding, lack of funds in the offseason. The other one, Carl Coulter, the center for the Ticats, played his university football at Carlton. Out of the shotgun is Parker. Over the middle of the pinball, but Clemens has nowhere to go. He's wrapped up well short, about 15 yards shy of the first down marker, so this gives the Argos a few more yards before they have to punt.
Tough situation there. 2nd and 25. What do you call? You know, if you're calling your own plays as a quarterback, you want to look to the sidelines and say, hey, you know, what do you do? And if the coach is calling him, he's looking to you saying, well, what do I do? And it's just it's a hit and miss thing there. You don't want to force it and be silly and you know, possible turnover situation down the field. So screens often good in that situation.
But because it all didn't work out, it's a punt in this situation. It's bobbled by Parker, who picks it up again and gets up across the 45 to about the 49-yard line after a 42-yard punt by Noel Prefontaine. Let's head down to the sideline once again and join David Amber. David.
Thanks, Rod. Joining me is Archie Amerson. He's injured right now, a sprained MCL. Archie, obviously they miss you out there. Can you talk about your status?
My status is week to week. You know, I mean, I hurt my knee last week, and I'm just rehabbing it, trying to get back as soon as possible.
They need you back in there. 6th last year in all-purpose yards, 4th in carries in the league. A great year for you. Talk about, could you play at 75% because you do so many things, or no?
I mean, I wouldn't want to, because I could risk hurting my knee even more and be out for the year, and that'd be even worse for my team. So just take my time and get back strong.
Good luck to you coming back, Archie Amerson, week to week right now. Back to you, Rod.
All right, David, and that pass completed to Eric LaPointe from Danny McManus, but greeted right away, Matt, by Martavius Houston.
Yeah, and that's a matchup that they feel like they could, you know, they're looking for, you know, prior to the start of the football game. You've got LaPointe, you know, who can flat out fly, and you got Martavius, you know, as an outside linebacker, and you feel like you can always beat an outside linebacker. But Martavius was a converted halfback, so it's kind of the best of both worlds for Toronto in that situation.
2nd and 5. Tiger Cats pushing midfield. Flag down. Looked like Ronald Williams ran ahead before the snap of the football. We'll have to wait and see. Down on both sides. And it would be short of a first down anyway.
Okay, the Argos showed blitz there. Had everybody walked up in line of scrimmage. Dropped only one. Danny Mack reads the blitz and throws high.
Offside. Hamilton number 24. Second down repeated.
Unfortunately, got offsides, negates everything.
So it was Ronald Williams crossing the line of scrimmage before the snap of the football. Now you have a 2nd and 11.
Again, this is where your offense does not want to be in 2nd and long situations. You can't pound that home enough. This is what the coaches are always talking to him about.
From the Tiger Cat 47, trailing by 5 but having a better second quarter. McManus throws it off to his left, but it's off the hands of Trevor Shaw. A catchable ball just shy of the first down marker, and instead it'll be 3rd. Osbaldiston coming back out.
It just looks like the turf monster got Mr. Shaw. He's backpedaling a little bit and just kind of got him off balance where he couldn't get up and get it where he wants his hands on that football. He'll catch that one 9 out of 10 times. Turf just got the better of him on that aspect. You can see him backpedal, lose his balance just a little bit. I don't know, Bonner had him teed up anyways. Looks like he was going to knock him out, so probably best he didn't catch that one.
Well, he had 9 catches and 107 yards receiving last week against Montreal. Had a big day for the Ticats. No catch there, and because of it, Osbaldiston punting, but another beautiful punt. Adrian Smith chased back into his inside his 10 to his 5, but having a good return out to the 25. Adrian Smith, he's a cornerback, he's a quarterback, and he's a special teams guy as well. He does an awful lot on that field.
Now, Gary Echeverry, you know, calls him the team's big hitter, the big playmaker, and that's why he's in that double tights offense, and now he's got him returning punts. He just does everything. You can see his big playmaking ability right here, taking it up, a couple of great moves, burst through the hole, almost breaks that tackle, gets a little bit more. Great return, gets him out of a hole there.
The big problem for the Argos last week in Winnipeg was special teams. 2 punts were blocked, and another one returned on them for a touchdown. A miserable night in that department, but so far, the Argos special teams unit has really been together, especially on punt return. They've had some good returns so far tonight. 1st and 10. 25, Barker looking. Has the time to get it away, but a good defensive play as it's knocked away by Frank West, the corner. His coverage on number 8, Andrew English.
Yeah, he had Andrew English from the get-go, or right off the football, but he was looking the other way and then just found him too late. And by that time, West was all over the top of him. Yeah, Jay's already looked right, and he's coming left here, and West makes a good play, coming over the shoulder. Make sure he doesn't touch him before the ball gets there, and makes a tremendous play. Almost turned the ball over there.
As a position, that was the biggest change for the Ticats defensively. Between this year and last, of course, the great Eric Carter going on to the BC Lions, signing there as a free agent, so that left a hole to fill. West playing there tonight. Off the quarterback draw, Barker keeps it himself and continues to be the best rusher for the Toronto Argonauts. He takes that 10 yards, and I believe he does have another first down.
He's got a 7-yard average route on the year. Can't believe he's the leading rusher. There it is, just a draw play. These people are going to influence up the field. Jay's going to take a step back and find a hole. He's going to kick him out. He's going to take him. Jay's going to read this man right here. Finds a hole, does the rest, gets you 11. That's 4 over his average. He's having fun out there doing that, folks. That's a good call in a good situation.
Gonzalo Floyd finally caught up with him and brought him down, but Barker has a first down out of the shotgun and throws it behind Eric Blunt. A quick play that develops into nothing, and it'll be 2nd and long, Argos. And we're winding down to the 3-minute mark. We'll take the break. Saditas Friday Night Football.
Friday night football tonight.
Under the open skies at Skydome, 3:04 to go until halftime, and then we'll hear from James Duthie and Chris Schultz. Hey, Matt, the big man's got a little more room in the studio with you up here.
He's loving it, but I miss those guys. They're good guys, you know, they're fun to work with.
And we'll hear from them at the half, and after this game is over, we will head to Taylor Field in Regina. The 2-0 BC Lions, very sharp out of the gate against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who are off to an 0-2 start. A big game for them to get back in it in the CFL West. Doubleheader night. Adidas Friday Night Football, all here on TSN.
Do you know Schultz sews? Chris Schultz sews, makes his own suits. I swear.
They have to be tailor-made, I believe that. Barker in trouble, drops the ball again. They're marking it down as Lamar Griggs had picked it up to run it into the end zone. It was a low snap in the shotgun. He never had control of the football running after it. And at least he managed to get his hands on it again.
Just a little fumbleitis here, you know. It looks like the snap's a little bit low, but it is catchable. We'd like to see it higher. It's hard left. He never really had a chance there. It's hard left, and he's going to his right. He gets a hand on it. Whew. And Joe is quick to the ball, of course. He's just coming off. He comes inside. He's right on top of Jay before he has a chance to do anything with the football. It's good that the ball or the ground can't cause a fumble.
So Prefontaine to punt. A little bit of pressure there, and it's certainly not his best punt of the night. Probably his worst as it just gets to midfield. Prefontaine having an excellent night punting the football, but a lot of pressure that time. Curtis Jackson takes it, and Ticats have lots of time to see if they can put more points on the board already in Argo territory with Danny McManus coming back out onto the field. Not a particularly great first half, but things are improving, Matt, and better than this point last week.
Yeah, it's 2:31 left here, and Danny McManus got a chance to put his football team up, and they hadn't played very well offensively, and yet they got a still chance to win or go up here before half.
Quick pass over to Darren Flutie going nowhere. Gain of maybe a half a yard.
Just a quick screen, trying to, create something on the perimeter to make the defense run, take the heat off the quarterback. And Toronto just does a great job of coming up and flying to the ball. And Kelly Wilshire is right in there making the tackle. O'Shea cleaning up.
Well, Mike O'Shea, an ex-Ticat, and what a stir he caused when he came back from his tryout in the NFL and chose the Argos instead of going back to the Cats. McManus under pressure, but throws. And it's completed to Flutie. The combination strikes again. 2:04 on the clock. And now inside the 35-yard line, down to the 34 Argos. Ticats on the move.
Flutie just coming off the backside. Danny Mac does a good job of reading him and putting his ball on the money. Second and long situation. Darren does a good job. Ball's on the money. The rest is routine.
McManus from the shotgun again. Looking deep for Gregg. Good coverage. Has it. Flag down. A flag down. They don't even indicate the touchdown as Gregg caught it.
Looks like they're going to get him here for offensive pass interference, Rod.
Feeling he pushed off to then catch the football. And immediately a flag goes down. And the Ticats are being pushed back.
A little bit of jostling going down the sidelines, which is allowed.
Forward pass interference.
I think it's
Hamilton,
good.
number
Let
89.
him play football. Let him mix it up in the paint. Let him mix it up on the perimeter. In a situation where you just got Donald Smith, a veteran corner out there. Andrew, a veteran receiver. Kind of gets caught with a little push off there at the end. Yeah, a little too obvious.
Smith had been with him every step of the way just until that catch made. That one nearly intercepted. Thrown over the middle. Clifton Abraham got his hands on it. The only one to touch the football as it falls incomplete. And that was on 2nd and 20.
Situation you don't want to be in, Rod. It looks like they're just, the Argonauts had shown blitz, and Danny Mac had to get rid of the ball just a little bit quicker than what he wanted.
Excuse me, that was on 1st and 20, so it'll be 2nd down. A long way to go. The ball at the 44 of the Argos.
Whether that's 1st and 20 or 2nd and 20, that's a long way to go.
Sure is. And they still have it. A 20-yard distance. McManus throwing much shorter, not even close to first down yardage. In fact, barely back to the original line of scrimmage for Darren Flutie.
But it puts them in a situation, that they can get points on the board. They can kick a field goal here. Put Ozzie in a situation where he has a chance to put some points on the board. That's a good play. You don't force them to try to get the whole 20 yards. You get 10 of it and put your kicker, an all-pro, future Hall of Famer Paul Spaldison, in a position to put 3 more points up on the board.
He already has 2 field goals, 2 for 2 on the night. His last one coming from 35 yards away, also a 39-yarder. And thanks to the leg of Spaldison, the Ticats can strip their way back to within 2 points. If this one is good, it'll be the longest attempt of the night at 42 yards. His longest this season is 37. Excuse me, the 39 he had earlier tonight. Flutie marks it down distance. Once again, down the middle it goes. 3 field goals by Paulus Bolliston. And the Ticats and Ronnie Lancaster back to within 2 of the Argos after what had not been a pretty start for Hamilton.
Makes it look easy, doesn't he?
He sure does. Veteran that started in 1986 and still going strong.
Great hold from Darren Flutie. That batter of the quarterback, or excuse me, the holder, the center, and the kicker is so critical. A lot of work goes into that, perfecting the timing, getting the ball placed exactly where the kicker needs it, how he wants it. The snap, the holder, and the kicker is a tremendous battery, and it's got to work in unison in order for that to work properly.
I don't want to bring up unpleasant memories, but in 1986, as Bolliston in that Grey Cup game, where the Ticats beat your Edmonton Eskimos 39-15, he had 6 field goals, Grey Cup record. And that was his first year.
Shut up, Rod.
Well, that's enough of that. And Barker under pressure and down. And I didn't even say the name Grover Covington. I didn't even mention that name.
Oh, there's all kinds of cuss words on that defense right there.
And a loss on the play for Jay Barker. Gonzalo Floyd in there for the Ticats.
Jay's looking for the pump again. It's not there. Hamilton is taken away and allows Gonzalo Floyd just the extra bit of time he needs to put the sack on Barker.
So, second down and long for the Argos as Barker rolls to his right. Just eludes some trouble, but still is in some. Does get it away. Won't be grounding. He got it across the line of scrimmage, but obviously just throwing it away.
That 1st and 10 play there when Gonzalo comes around the backside, you know, our partner there in the studio, Chris Schultz, left tackle, you know, it's a hitch and go, it's a pump fake, it's a long protection for the offensive line, critical for them to hang on as much as they possibly can, and it really puts the offensive line in a bad situation. Right here, isolation right there, and he's just got to block forever. That's 4 seconds, 5 seconds, and now the quarterback still has the ball. And the old lineman's going, oh, no, I can't believe that. Hey, come on, get rid of the rock. T.J. Ackerman is saying, how long do I have to protect here? Well, that was a secondary coverage sack right there. Credit the secondary for good coverage.
And because of it, the Argos will have to punt again. Noel Prefontaine back at about his 12-yard line. 53 seconds on the scoreboard clock here at Skydome. Prefontaine, despite the points on the board for the Argos, has had a pretty busy first half and some beautiful punts along with it. One over 60 yards that led to a single. A 67-yarder. Another nice punt. Chasing Parker back inside his 25. Looked like a clip, but a flag doesn't go out after another great punt, a 60-yarder. And Parker with a short return.
Some people were talking about a defensive struggle here, Rod. You know, how it's going to be a defensive game. And 11-9 so far, they're right. Just tremendous play. Pressure defenses, getting after the quarterback, the receivers. You know, just 2 different types of games. One we saw Calgary and Edmonton, and this one here.
Yeah, 20 points and a half for the CFL. There's not a whole lot. That one for Williams falls off the fingertips. Little swing pass is incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Ticats. 43 seconds to go on the clock here till halftime.
Yeah, I think Danny Mack's a little frustrated. You know, that is a tougher pass to complete than it looks like, but that's one he should be able to complete. And he's, you know, you got to pick a spot and just pull the trigger. And Danny Mack's hesitating just a little bit. But I tell you, he's the type of quarterback that one throw and he's locked in. And look out, folks, he can put a hurting on you in a hurry.
And now, as we mentioned earlier tonight, 12th in the all-time list in passing. We have movement and a whistle going. Zanoki Brechterfield jumping off, although he did get back on. Flags down.
You got to like that name, Zanoki Brechterfield. Oregon State University. I would have liked to grown up where he grew up in Honolulu, Hawaii.
Pac-10 Defensive Player of the Year.
Offside.
Played for somebody that CFL fans are familiar with, Mike Riley.
Of course.
quality coach. I played with Bud Riley. Shows you how old I am. Played with Mike's dad. He was a coach of mine in Edmonton.
Bud Riley, an assistant with the Eskimos.
There you go. Taking you way back.
So it's 2nd and 5. After the offside call against the Argos. Quick hitch out to Flutie, but once again it's going nowhere. In fact, they just call it down.
Check that ball. Looks like there's some grease on it or something. That one didn't come out very good. Tells me something's wrong with the mechanics there. His footwork, he's rushing things, and his feet's not in time with his rhythm and of his throwing motion. Yeah, those are two. It just doesn't look like Danny McManus, because he's one of the pure passers in the league, and he's got a quick, pretty release, throws a tight spiral, and it's just not happening for him right now. And that's when things are off. Your feet, your throwing motion, it's like golf in your swing there. It's got to be in sync with one another, and right now it's not for Danny McManus.
Osbaldiston to punt it away. Under 40 seconds to go till they hit the locker room. And it appears the Argos will take a lead with them. Still up by 2. Adrian Smith with the ball at his 30. Trying to get outside, but a good play by Parker. Eurocius Parker with the tackle to take down Blunt at the 35, and now a late flag going down. More extra stuff happening after the whistle. The rivalry lives.
A lot of just job coaches crazy. Yeah, the rivalry lives, but you know, you're taught and you're told more times than not to play between the whistles, not afterwards.
Objectionable conduct. Toronto number 12, first down.
Adrian Smith is upset, you know, because he couldn't get the corner. He's upset with himself. He's upset with the way the play unfolded. So afterwards, he just takes the ball and wings it at him.
Throwing it at Eurocius Parker, the guy who made the tackle on the play, but
We'll hear about that one again.
Now, Jim Barker's Argos are used to having a lead. They led at the half against the Alouettes. They led at the half at three-quarter time against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. It's the latter part of the game that's given them trouble. Looks like they will go to the locker room up by a couple of points with 23 seconds to go after the handoff to Eric Blunt. Barker's still looking for that first win as a head coach.
Right, just tremendous play in the defensive line there. You know, you got Pumelli going at it with my man Mike Jr. Campbell, and Jr. just second effort lunges out there. It looked like he was taken out of the play and trips up Blunt trying to get to the hole. Just a tremendous effort by Campbell, but that's what makes this Hamilton team work.
Looks like this will be the last play of the half as Barker just hands off again to Blunt, and the clock is down to zeros. In 3 games for the Argos, they have had the lead at the half for all 3 of those games. It is Toronto 11, the Hamilton Tiger Cats 9. Now off to Duthie and Schultz. It is Friday Night Football at the half.
You're watching Adidas Friday Night Football, and we're at the half.
The Argos have not been that far away. Week 1, they were 1 play away from beating the Alouettes. Week 2, they were dead even statistically with Winnipeg, except in 1 category, special teams, where they were absolutely brutal. They've turned that around tonight, Chris.
Well, they have turned it around. I think when you look at the Toronto Argonauts, they're very easy to evaluate. This is a good defensive football team, evident by the 9 points in the first half. It's an offensive football team, folks, that's going to take 4 or 5 games to get its act together. Determining factor, special teams. So let's give some credit where credit is due. Eric Blunt has had 2 excellent returns within this game that have determined field position for the Argonauts. Right here, goes for the sidelines. 9 times out of 10, punt returners are told, head right up the middle. If not for Rob Hitchcock, this is a touchdown. Excellent return by Eric Blunt. Number 2, watch how he keeps the ball in the center of his stomach. That really is a key breaker for the defense. They don't know whether he's going to tuck it and move to his right, tuck it and move to his left. Nice, intelligent play by Eric Blunt. If he continues to progress at this phase of football, it's going to help the Argonauts immensely, and they're going to need it because that offensive team is still struggling to a T.
And Eric Blunt has been one of the guys the Argos a bit disappointed in so far this season, so important for them to get him going. The defense is controlling most of this one. Jay Barker and the Argos, well, they had kind of a rough half on offense, but they lead it by 2 at the break.
Vargas, quick drop. Looking there for Shalon Baker. Donald Smith was all over him.
You know, a lot of players have interesting off-the-field hobbies. For some, it's sewing. For Donald Smith, it's art. In fact, he's an accomplished painter. So let us call this a self-portrait. Let's get up close and talk some football with Argos cornerback Donald Smith.
Up Close, brought to you by Adidas. Long live sport.
McManus now over the top. He goes for Flutie, all tied up, and interception. Picked off by Donald Smith. And Smith now moving close to midfield, gets up there before Mike Morielli makes the stop.
First game, it was a pick for a touchdown. We lost the game. Winnipeg special teams killed us. Defensively, we played well. We didn't step up when we should have in the fourth quarter when it was like 30-27. And we made some mistakes, gave up a big score, and it just went downhill from there. We got to step up and do what we need to do. We don't have the Flutie, we don't have Drummond, but we have a lot of guys. We got a nucleus that we got so much potential that we don't have to rely on just one or two people. We use everybody and everybody do what they're supposed to do. We're gonna surprise a lot of teams.
Up Close, brought to you by Adidas. Long live sport.
He is an artist and he is a winner. 2 rings, 4 all-star teams, and a bunch of interceptions. The Donald, a key component of this team, Chris.
Well, you know, James, whenever you're trying to build a football team, you have to evaluate football players. What kind of people are they like? I mean, in the football world, it's pretty easy. Number one, does he have the athletic ability to play the game? Number two is, what is he like in pads? I mean, everything changes in football once you start hitting. But really, one of the key evaluations is, what is his character? What is he like as a person? Donald Smith excels in all of these areas of football evaluation. He plays probably the toughest position outside of cornerback in the CFL and in football, and that's cornerback. It's a one-on-one situation. Sometimes you have to come up on run support, smack somebody in the mouth. Another time, you're one-on-one all the way down the field. But I kind of think that Donald Smith's biggest positive relationship with the Argonauts is his influence on the young players. What he says in the lifestyle, what he says in his day-to-day activity. Donald Smith is a man of quality. He's a man of performance on the field. And I think the Argonaut fans and the management in general should be very proud to have him associated with the team.
And that artwork really is something fabulous. We are at the half, but we're just a quarter of the way through our evening, because after this, yes, we're going to the prairies. BC and Saskatchewan, the undefeated Lions, the twice-defeated Riders. It's Saskatchewan's home opener, and boy, they need it, Chris.
Well, they really do. When you think about the Saskatchewan Roughriders, they had one heck of a hard time in trying to contain Nealon Green. He had an outstanding game. Really broke the CFL record held by Damon Allen for most yardage rushes. You know what? They have to go against Damon Allen now. He is just as fast as Nealon Green. He's experienced as well. Plus, he has Robert Drummond. This is a challenge for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. They have to keep this game close early, and then they can get that crowd at Taylor Field into the game, get some breaks. They have a possibility to win. Right now, the BC Lions have a nice balanced offense. They have a complicated defensive system that's hard to diagnose. The situation doesn't look good, but the Riders at home are exceptional.
All right, Chris likes these doubleheaders because he has lots to talk about, and so we're going to do it again next week as we look forward to the next week's schedule. Yes, we've got another one next Thursday. Stamps and Al starts it out. Blue Bombers and Lions is the late game, and then on Adidas Friday Night Football, we have the Argos and the Riders. We hope you can join us for those. If you can't, well, go see it in person. Here's the ticket number for your favorite team. Thank you, ladies. Well, Jim Barker has been in this position before, twice leading at the half, but he's yet to hold on and win his first game as a head coach in the CFL. Our David Amber spoke with the Argos coach just a few minutes ago.
Coach Barker, you've led at the half and after 3 quarters. What are you going to tell the team this time so you can maybe come out on top this time?
We have to finish. We have to get into rhythm on offense. Our defense is doing a great job. This is a classic Argo Ticat game. Great defense, and like I say, the team that gets our offense going is the team that's going to win this football game, so we got to get our offense in rhythm.
Good luck in the second half, Coach. Back to you guys.
Thank you, David, and he's right. The offense really not going anywhere. The stats pretty much dead even Hamilton, not a lot of rushing yardage at all. They are missing Archie Amerson. What do they have to do, Chris, in the second half?
Well, you're right about missing Archie Amerson. That's where you have a young man by the name of Darren Flutie who can come through and make some big plays. Flutie's biggest attribute is his ability to release on the line of scrimmage. When the Argos played press coverage, look for Danny McManus to try to find him down the seam. On the other side, here's the obvious. The Toronto Argonauts are not a polished team right now, and that's not an insult. That's an observation based on turnovers and penalties. But they can still win this game in emotion. If I was in the locker room right now, I'd be one happy Argonaut to have a nice close game and have the opportunity to turn the tide. You know, every now and then games turn around, whole seasons turn around on one game. This is an opportunity for the Argonauts to gain some real confidence heading into the rest of the season.
All right, now we heard from one Barker. The other Barker needs to get something going in this half as well. Jay Barker's had a tough time. Of course, his offensive line hasn't been giving him much help. He's been sacked several times, but his Argos do have a 2-point lead as we head towards the third quarter.
And with the Ticats trailing at the half, some concerns for head coach Ron Lancaster, who is standing by with David Amber.
Coach, it's not as bad as last week for Danny McManus, but the lack of offense has got to concern you going into the second half.
Oh, yeah, it sure does. I mean, we can't run the ball if you can't block them, and we don't seem to have any consistent idea of what we're doing on offense. We're letting them return special teams too far, but you know what? We're in a football game, and if we start playing right, we'll take this thing and go down the field and score, and it's about time we started to do that. What do you think?
Well, that's for you to do. Good luck in the second half. Back to you guys.
Thank you, David. And I think David meant that's for him to do as a coach or maybe as a player. Hey, he threw for over 50,000 yards. If Danny Mac needs to be spelled a little bit, get the old field general back out there.
I think Ronnie's got the juices flowing. He wants to get out there and do something himself.
The Argos kick off to start the second half. It'll be Curtis Jackson taking it down at his 15. Trying to find some room outside, but he is taken down by number 14, Stefan Potasic, with the flags down on the field in this opening play of the third quarter.
Danny McManus taking a look at where he likes to go with the football. You know, left side he's had some tremendous success. Over the middle he's got one picked and he's 0 for 4. On the right side he's a little over 50%. All in all, another half that Danny McManus would like to forget.
First down.
Folks, I'll tell you once again, he's the type of quarterback that can lock in a hurry and hurt you. I expect him to do that. I fully expect him to do that. You just don't see a quality quarterback like Danny McManus from Florida State University struggle like this for 2 halves.
And for the Ticats, they start a little further back, a blocking from behind penalty, which pushes them back to their 16 to open up. And McManus opens up, passing, dangerous, picked off, Adrian Smith, touchdown Argos.
Well, that's exactly what the Argonauts need. They need big plays like that from the defense. Wide field out, Danny McManus trying to gun it out there. He's got the arm to get her done. But Adrian Smith just sitting out there, plucking it clean, breaks on the ball. Andrew Grigg waiting for the ball to get to him. Adrian Smith attacking the football. Once again, that's the difference. The receivers got to work back aggressively to the football because you know those defensive backs are.
Those two have met before. Remember the 96 Grey Cup in Hamilton. McManus then with Edmonton. Late in a close game through an interception on the corner. It was Adrian Smith with the pick for the touchdown. The Argos went on to beat the Edmonton Eskimos in a very close game by 6. The convert, Dan Giancola, puts it through, and what a way for things to get started. Not only for McManus, for Adrian Smith and the Argos, who see their lead go up to 9 points, 18-9.
Danny Mac looking that way the whole time, sees it, puts everything he's got on it. Adrian just a tremendous break on the football. Easy waltz into the end zone. Well, they'll turn things around in a hurry.
Last week, one of the 5 interceptions McManus threw went for a touchdown as well for the Alouettes' Baron Miles. A different sort, though. That one more over the middle and off a tip, I believe. Miles returning it. That one just a clean pick by Adrian Smith, who just seems to have a nose for the football. And as mentioned, does double duty a little bit. That short yardage offense as a quarterback. He threw a 5-yard touchdown pass to Brad Elberg last week in Winnipeg against the Bombers. second straight week, it has been a real struggle for one of the outstanding quarterbacks in this game. Under 100 yards passing at this point in time, but it's those two interceptions, that one especially, of course, that looms large right now early in the second quarter. The third quarter, excuse me, early in the second half. Noel Prefontaine kicking off again. He just did it moments ago. Taken down at the 15 by Parker. Parker, a good return specialist, will give the Ticats room to work with up at their 45. And Adrian Smith coming back on the field, as is the Ticat quarterback, Danny McManus.
Just a tremendous situation for Danny Mac. Struggling last week, struggling this week. Comes to the sideline. Who are you looking in the face? Ronnie Lancaster, a man who knows a little bit something about adversity. Just look at those totals there. Don't look at number 3 down there, folks.
Number 3, yeah.
Don't look at that.
Ronald Williams on the carry to the right side. Well, the one thing you can all take solace with, some great quarterbacks right across the board. And I guess you have to take some chances, and you do make mistakes along the way in order to have success.
And you get back up and you do it again. You know, you dust yourself off, you make mistakes. That's it's a great indicator and parallel to life. You know, you just got to keep plugging away, and that's exactly what Danny Mac's going to do.
Fourth on the list, the late Bernie Filoni died recently. One of the great quarterbacks in Hamilton Ticat history. McManus fires, incomplete. And the Ticats will be punting again, 2 and out.
Again, a great situation to be in. 2nd and 6. You know, they run a real simple play, all hooks, and tremendous defensive coverage. Another coverage opportunity for the Argonauts to shine, and they certainly did. Wiltshire just getting up and getting a hand on it, reading Danny Mac's eyes. Tremendous play.
Osbaldiston standing at his 35. One man back, and it's Eric Blunt. Takes it inside the 25. And barely makes it to the 30, where the Argos, after a 5-yard return and a 41-yard punt, will go to work again. Who will win this latest installment of the Ticats and Argos? Well, Adrian's pick says Toronto. But we got 12:54 to go. It's early in the second half. Argos by 9 on Adidas Friday Night Football.
Adidas Friday Night Football is brought to you in part by Gatorade. Is it in you?
Back at Skydome, Jay Barker is on the sideline. The Argos have the football. We're not exactly sure why, but Jimmy Kemp, Argos leading by 9, is in this ball game. There are his numbers. And he played a little bit in the 4th quarter last week in Winnipeg. Kemp hands off, it's fumbled. But the Argos have got it back. Eric Blunt fumbled it, and they actually gain yardage on the play as it gets up to the 40 and close to an Argo first down. Patrick Kessie falling on the football.
Good looking push by the offensive line. Getting out and around. Following Chad Folk on a pull, just getting out front there. Good looking play, establishing a run. Got a lucky bounce. Sometimes you got to work in your favor in order to be good.
Second time in the game that Blunt has fumbled. 2nd and short. Kemp keeps, barely makes it across the 40. For a second, it didn't look like he would, but he does get across, and the sticks will move. Argo first down.
Yeah, again, the Argos have chosen to spread things out. There's only 5 people in the box. Jimmy Kemp trying to get out and outside. But you got to be able to seize that offensive tackle. You got to be able to put a hat in a hack. Mumford's just reading that, and he's trying to put, put a hurting on Kemp, trying to get outside.
Jimmy Kemp in the game. Early movement, flags down. Looks like the Ticats are offside as Kemp throws, and that is a knockdown. Kemp in the game, Barker on the sideline. Let's get an explanation now. Down to the sideline we go, and David Amber. David?
Rod, I wish I had a better explanation than this, but David Greenberg, the Argos team physician, says he is under orders not to tell us what is wrong with Jay Barker. He's standing there. He doesn't seem to be in any amount of pain with a baseball hat on, which would indicate that he's in no hurry to come back into this game. But David Greenberg says he's under strict orders not to tell us what the nature of the injury, if there indeed is an injury, to Jay Barker. That's the best I could do for now. I'm trying to find out some more stuff. Now back to you.
Thank you, David. Now, Barker was hurt, although they said in the press notes it was just a mild injury last week in Winnipeg. Kemp came on in the fourth quarter, so it remains a mystery why Barker is off on the sidelines. And it's 1st and 5, and Eric Blunt has the football, and he picks up a couple of those yards, gets about halfway of those 5 yards, so that first down will be 2nd and short.
Not a bad vantage point for him. If in fact he is hurt, you know, that's bad news for the Argos, but not a bad vantage point for him at this point. Take a step back, look at what Jimmy Kemp is doing on 1st down, look at what the original offense or the regular offense is doing out there, so you get a better feel, a different perspective of things. So I just hope that he's not hurt and we'll see him again.
18 points on the board, but remember, 7 of those produced by the interception by Adrian Smith. Big pressure on Kemp, who lobs one for Pinball Clements and heads out of bounds before the ball arrives. Good coverage by the Ticats. And the Argos will have to punt. It'll be about 3rd and 3.
Tremendous pressure coming from Mr. Hagens off the corner. Joe's getting high and he's flying too. Looked like he almost jumped right up over the back. Here he comes right here. Coming right up through the middle, folks. Putting extreme pressure on right here. Eric Blunt comes up underneath him, goes up over the top. He forces a high throw, a throw that Jimmy Kemp, you know, had to kind of spot because of that pressure. Forces an incompletion.
Look at the average of Prefontaine, 51 yards plus as he punts again from his 35. Another good punt. As Parker, Eurocius Parker, takes it, gets across the 15, and gets taken down by a swarm, including number 59, Glenn Young, after a 52-yard punt. So the average continues for Prefontaine, giving the Ticats field position that pushes them deep. We'll be back.
One or the other.
The Argos' next home game, August the 6th against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And you'd like a ticket for that Friday nighter? 416-341-5162. Pretty good crowd in attendance tonight here at Skydome. They had over 18,000 for an exhibition game between these very two teams. Argos on top of the Ticats, 18-9 now. First of a doubleheader here on TSN and Adidas Friday Night Football. After this, we head to Taylor Field for the Lions and Saskatchewan Roughriders. McManus out of the shotgun. Looking deep, overthrown, intended for his favorite target, Darren Flutie. So it'll be 2nd down on a rough night for that Ticat offense and Danny Mack.
Yeah, look for him to come back to a mismatch backside with Martavius Houston on Curtis Jackson. Curtis Jackson can flat out fly for a wide receiver. He's got great speed, probably the fastest man on the Hamilton Tiger-Cat roster. Look for Danny Mack to come back to that matchup. They put him over here for that reason, and Danny Mack chose to go to Flutie on that particular case.
.33 to go in the 3rd quarter. The pass is caught, but shy of a first down. Flutie has it, knocked down by Donald Smith and slow to get up. With a little help from his teammate as well, Dave Hack.
Good smart football there, Rod. Good smart football. Toronto just kind of lays back and plays everything underneath. They flood a zone here. Danny Mack sees that, dumps it out. Donald Smith comes up prior to Flutie getting to first down, to the first down sticks, puts a lick on him, staples him to the turf. Now they've got to punt the football. Good, solid defense there.
So another very quick, non-eventful possession for this Hamilton offense. Struggling a lot in this game against the defense that had been ranked #1 in the CFL, at least in terms of yardage allowed, and that should stick after week 3, the way things are going. Driving punt to Eric Blunt. That is 45. The Argos will have good field position depending on the outcome of the flag, which just was thrown towards the end of that play.
tremendous moves. Didn't get much of a return, but just tremendous moves by Eric Blunt. About blew out Kyle Walters' knee there, put him on the ground, left his jock strap on the 45-yard line there.
So the penalty
Illegal
will,
block. Toronto number 30, first down.
it will go against the Argos and Wayne Shaw. But you're right, Blunt has been an excellent return man so far with the Argos.
Right there, you can see him right there. Looks like his knee's about to be blown out. Blunt just put a hurting on him. The penalty is right here. That's obvious. That's an easy call. Wayne Shaw is the culprit. I tell you, he's having a great game on special teams. He just got caught there.
Eric Blunt, of course, an outstanding year with Winnipeg last year, especially in special teams. Kemp gets out of the pressure. Nowhere to go. Taken down and losing the football, but the Argos still have it. It is still their football. Kemp is suffering the same kind of fate Jay Barker did several moments of this game with a collapsing pocket. Collapses all too quickly.
And Hamilton is so daggone fast on the defense. They can swarm in a hurry. Just Jimmy Kemp standing in the pocket. Everything looks good. They show blitz and they drop off. They collapse the pocket. Now he's got to get out and around. Linebackers just come up and play it. Now you've got Tiggle forcing him into the inside. Griggs is out there. Higgins is out there. Heck, everybody's out there.
On second down and 12, Kemp airs it up. His receiver is knocked down. It's the pinball, and there's a flag. It's taken by Rob Hitchcock. But the flag should go against the Tiger Cats as Mike Clements was knocked down just as he made his turn. And it will. Interference called against the Tiger Cats.
Forward pass interference. Hamilton number 28, non-deliberate, 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's a proper call, Rod. You know, it's non-deliberate. They just, right here, they just, you know, get their feet locked up. And a situation where pinball's going to the corner, boom, they trip over each other. And Hitchcock showing great range like a shortstop, flying to the football, making a diving catch. Here it is in its entirety. Got Mike getting a match up, leaning hard to the corner, boom, trip right there. And Hitchcock coming out of nowhere, covering some ground, makes a tremendous interception. All for naught, though, because it was an incidental 10-yard penalty.
As opposed to intentional, which of course would go at the point of infraction. But as it stands, it's an Argo first down across their 45. At the midway point of the third quarter with a 9-point lead. Pressure's coming from the Ticats. It's handed off. And Darren Joseph has a pretty good carry up towards midfield to about the 53.
Joe Mumford got a swerve on. He is making it happen, folks. Coming hard backside, just got a bead on Darren Joseph. And just when he gets to the ball carrier, it looks like he hasn't eaten, and Joseph is a piece of meat, and he just goes at him like a ravenous dog. Amazing how he attacks that football.
He had big pressure earlier in this game and a couple of sacks to add to his total already in this young season. Kemp under pressure, talking about sacks. Just avoided one there, wide open.
Unbelievable.
Tyrone Brown, first catch. And it's a big Argo first down.
Oh, Jimmy Kemp just saved himself a good week in the hospital by ducking that one, because Mr. McGriggs was coming with all his might, and he saw him at the last possible second and ducked down and made a play happen. Lamar Griggs has got a bead coming off the backside right there, full sprint, just right up over the top. He does the Houdini on him and throws a strike for a major completion that puts Toronto in scoring position.
No matter where Jimmy Kemp has played, San Antonio or Sacramento or Montreal, Saskatchewan or Edmonton, he's always been a reliable backup and having a pretty good drive right here. That one, however, lucky not to be picked off as it falls incomplete.
Right at you, folks. Here's what it feels like. Jimmy Kemp looking that way the whole time, delivers with timing. Oh, just off a little bit. Not sure if he was intended for the inside receiver or the outside receiver, but it looks like there was a little lack of communication there. That could have gone the distance the other way very easily.
So 2nd and 10 for the Argos. Inside the Hamilton 35. Kemp, lots of room to his left as he rolls out. Throws it for English. Andrew English can't hang on, and Frank West has the coverage. It'll be 3rd down in a field goal situation.
Tremendous bit of adjustment there by Andrew English. Almost made the circus catch with the one hand on the sidelines. Had a lot to think about. Had the defender in his lap. Had the sidelines and his feet to think about. Only had one arm to work with. Jimmy Kemp sprinting the corner, continues to go, trying to make something happen. Sees and is on the same page with Andrew English and just can't squeeze it there. Just too many things going on at one time. Griggs just all over pinball. Just undressing him there. It's like, come here, younger brother. It looks like a younger brother situation there, doesn't it? McGriggs is so daggum tall. 6'3" and pinball's 5'6". They didn't call it though, did they?
There was a penalty on the play, yet unexplained. It's 2nd down and 10. Kemp gets away for a moment. Good scrambling ability. Kemp gets outside, but has no choice but to take it out of bounds. But there was no explanation. As, excuse me, the marker indicating 1st down. So there was a penalty against the Tiger Cats. The sticks did move despite the incompletion to Andrew English on the play before.
Roddy said he didn't have a choice to go out of bounds, but he did have a choice because a lot of quarterbacks, younger quarterbacks, would have turned back and tried to make something happen and throw that ball back against their body, into grain, into traffic. Jimmy Kemp made the proper decision, made the right choice, step out of bounds, keep your people in scoring position and not turn the ball over.
Cat on the field. And the ball back to the Argo 28. The lost yardage by Kemp. Frank West is the injured Cat. We'll take a break. This is Adidas Friday Night Football on TSN. Back at Skydome as Hamilton defensive coordinator Don Sutherland looks on. Key concern, his corner Frank West, who's playing his 1st game of the season over at that position, is injured and walking off. And so Eurocius Parker, excuse me, the rookie, comes in to take his
for
place.
You to say. Tell you, things are getting thin down there, aren't they? In the corner, Cobb's out, not in the lineup. Got Frank West moving over there. Schilling takes his spot at half. You got Eurocius Parker filling in for Schilling at the half. Now West is down. Now Eurocius goes in for West at the corner. It's a chess match over there. You know, when you got 39 to work with, you don't have very many, so, you know, the players, you got to be versatile, be able to play inside or out.
Now, the addition of Parker, who was on the practice roster for weeks 1 and 2, served 2 purposes. This one, of course, is a backup in case something happened, given their dissatisfaction in the corner, but also with Archie Amerson hurt, they wanted someone to come in and fulfill that role in the returns, which he's done pretty well.
That's right, and that's what we talk about, versatility in the Canadian Football League roster. The more you can do, the more valuable you are to your ball club.
So a new man on the corner, and Kemp out of the shotgun with the ball on 2nd and 15. Just gets it away, but nobody's there to take it. More Ticats pressure. They were coming again.
They sure were, and tremendous play by Jimmy Kemp. Smart heads-up plays, 2 of them in a row for Jimmy Kemp, getting rid of the football, giving his team a chance to put 3 more points on the board and go up by 12. We call this a jailbreak when you're playing quarterback, and this happens to you. This is what you're going to be looking at, is just a jailbreak. Everybody's breaking out of jail, getting up on a quarterback, going after the warden.
Is there any time to panic in a situation like that, or is it all happening so fast?
Oh yeah, Rod. He's changing his drawers right now on the sidelines.
Well, Van Giancola will try this from 35. He had a 47-yarder in the 1st half. This one has the legs, and it gets through. So good night for Giancola. And 3 more on the board. The equivalent of 3 converted touchdowns for the Argonauts. They have 21 points. And a 12-point lead in this game. Under 4 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Rod, credit those 3 points to Jimmy Kemp for 2 heads-up plays, not turning the ball over, throwing it back against the grain, and not taking a sack, taking them out of field goal range there.
Well, maybe a hint of a smile for Jim Barker that we saw earlier, but he said it before. It's the fourth quarter, it's the finish that is the biggest concern for these guys.
Exactly right. I look at this game's a long way from being over.
Back to work, has a man, completes it to Mike Morreale. Just like that, Ticat first down on the move across their 45.
Good to see him get in the game. Hadn't heard much of Mr. Morreale. Zone coverage, Danny Mack reads it, throws a quick ball with timing, has the easy completion. Sitting up in the hole, boom, right there. Timing, Morreale hangs on, makes a tough catch. Kid's versatile. He can go inside, make the tough one. He can go over the top, make the deep one for you. Big target, 6'3". Tough kid. Great to have on the football team.
And while Danny McManus looks on, it appears there is an injured Argo down.
Abraham.
Number 3, Clifton Abraham. In his second year with the Argos.
Morreale getting tremendous response on the Morreale macaroni in her second dosage of the product being out there on the market. Over 20,000 sold already. And
that's remarkable.
That's tremendous for the McMaster Children's Hospital and proceeds for those kids. And I think I know his uncle, Russ, I talked to him on the phone about the project, and he's been doing a lot of the legwork for it. And it's a situation where that can be done across the league, and I think it's a perfect example of how the Canadian Football League players reach out to their prospective communities.
Now, in case you're not familiar with the story, Mike Morreale, Hamilton native, went to school at McMaster, and a very worthwhile cause, of course, the Hamilton Children's Hospital. He's come up with the Morreale macaroni, and it's been selling great, as Matt mentioned. Well over 20,000. They're in the second lot of it all, and I believe $1 a box now going to Hamilton's Children's Hospital. So great news and great contribution on this first down. Short yardage off to the right side. The Ticats tried along the ground. And Eric Lapointe, the rookie, the ball carrier, to get it up at around the 50.
Morreale having a tremendous year last year, outstanding Canadian in the CFL. I mean, just reaping the rewards, just having a tremendous opportunity in the community. I mean, he's from Hamilton, he's from the area, and he's just giving back, and I just love to see that kind of thing happen.
It's a great story. He actually started his CFL career with the Argos. His cousin, Paul Massotti, can't play tonight because he's hurt with the Argos. Morreale, as you mentioned, had quite a year last year. That one falls incomplete and nearly picked off. Good pressure on McManus.
Oh, it's amazing trying to sit up here and sit down and watch this game because you're just pulling your hair out. You know, there's so many close plays. Any one of them can make the difference in this ball game. Again, Danny McManus throwing a ball that he probably would want to have back. Just a quick end of the play here, just looking at how it unfolds. Ball's tipped. Morreale doesn't even know it's coming. Ball's tipped. Rondis Bryce just almost makes a shoestring catch for the interception.
The punt by Osbaldiston. Eric Blunt got his 10 flag down. It'll go against the Argos. They'll be hemmed even deeper after a 46-yard punt.
Kevin Thornell's going to get called here. He's just blatantly threw a clip there trying to make something happen. They're going to get backed up even closer to the goal line now. Tremendous opportunity for the Hamilton Tiger Cat defense to come up big here and pin the ears back on Jimmy Kemp.
Excuse me,
illegal block. Toronto number 85, first down.
Well, we mentioned Morreale. How about his cousin Paul Mazzotti, who can't play tonight? He's down on the sideline with David Amber.
Thanks, Rod. Paul Mazzotti, pulled quad. You've got to be dying that you're missing this one. A Stony Creek native, the Argos' all-time leading receiver. Talk about your status.
Well, I keep forgetting I'm out of my uniform. I'm halfway in the field half the time. But it's just day-to-day, and hopefully I can get in there for Saskatchewan next week.
How tough has it been this year with such, a new quarterback and a new running back? Can you talk about the adjustments to make on offense?
Well, they're tough. We got changing personnel. Everybody's going down with injuries, and that's why we want to try to keep things constant. I wish I was in there helping the guys. You know, we're coming through with some big catches and some big plays, so hopefully we can keep going.
Well, good luck to you coming back, and good luck in the rest of the game. All right, guys, back to you.
Thank you. We just saw what looked like perhaps a catch by Andre Kerwan, but they say no catch. Argos don't like it.
This is a design play. It's called a throw behind or a fly and die. Quarterback sees that he can't get up over the top. He throws it short. That's just a tremendous catch by Kerwin. And just, you know, it's taken away from him. And that stuff can drive you crazy, you know, as a coach, as a player, quarterback, receiver. But that certainly looked like a catch to me. Tremendous execution there on Jimmy Kemp and Andre Kerwin's part.
Kerwan comes out of the huddle, egging the fans on. Go ahead. Make some noise. Kemp taken down at the 5. Lamar McGriggs has him in the grasp. And it'll be 3rd down. Argos will punt from their end zone.
I don't care if you're Nealon Green, you're not going to run away from that guy. Jimmy Kemp didn't have much of a prayer right there. He came out of the pocket and started going east and west instead of north and south. And Lamar Griggs can close you ground, folks. It's a design quarterback draw. Jimmy Kemp reads the hole, starts going east and west. It's nowhere land right there. McGriggs has got an easy pickings for a takedown, forcing the Argos to punt already.
He formed an excellent linebacking core with Katie Williams with Saskatchewan in '97. But because of some clubhouse tension, the Saskatchewan Roughriders wound up trading both him and Williams off to the Tiger Cats, which was, at the time, it seemed like a surprise move, but Saskatchewan went on to the Grey Cup, so it becomes a little harder to question. But Lamar McGriggs has been a great linebacker in his short stay here in the Canadian Football League.
Well, I certainly like the way he moves, the way he covers, the things he brings to the table. He can rush, he can cover, he can run stop. He's a complete package. Great addition alongside of an all-pro like Calvin Tagle. I mean, come on. And then you go to the other side with Higgins, the way Joe's developing. They got a good thing going on in Hamilton.
We saw him earlier, even talking to Paul Mazzatti, who just spoke to David Amber earlier.
Paul said he's forgot that he's not in uniform, and exactly what I'm talking about. I feel like I'm in uniform sometimes up here, and Paul's right down the sidelines. I couldn't imagine how it feels for him.
Rob Hitchcock, the injured Ticat, still down. Just up now and not looking too good as he favors, I believe, his left leg.
Hitchcock is right here. And Brown just comes over and takes his knee out right here. Doesn't look like he gets a helmet on it. It just looks like it almost might have happened beforehand.
The right knee for Hitchcock.
He got the blood all over his uniform right there. He's got everything going on. He's got the limp going. He's got the knee pads rolled up. He's got the short Ricky Martin hairdo going. Rob Hitchcock is a complete package. He can bring the hat too.
Not too many hit harder than he does in this league.
Great free safety.
Well, Noel Prefontaine is going to give up the safety.
Watch out for the balloons.
End zone. Running past balloons that got on the field and just wanders out in the back. Not the usual obstacle that anybody has to avoid on a football field, but nonetheless he did there to give up the 2 points.
Saw plenty of that last night. 3 of them, in fact, in one game. I don't believe I've ever seen that before. Just a flurry of safeties going on here in the Canadian Football League. Not a bad move. Don't put the Hamilton offense in good field position. Take it. Now hope to pin them back in their own territory, make them go the distance of the football field as opposed to playing on a short field. Good move.
Well, instead of a 12-point game, it is 10. Still a touchdown and a field goal ahead for Jim Barker and the Argos. And as Matt mentioned, much better field position than they otherwise would have had, and that is considering one of the top punters in the game is standing in his end zone too. Averaging over 50 yards a kick tonight, but even at that, Hamilton would have had it at midfield. Probably no worse than that. 46 seconds to go in the third, and this is the time for Jim Barker.
Yeah, I'm glad to see him. You know, he's down there relaxed, making decisions like that in the heat of the battle. You know, it's a key situation here. I'm sure he got some good help from Darryl Ladron, a fine special teams coach. He's all over his special teams this week due to the performance last week, and just, I think, a smart move at this point of the game not to put Hamilton on a short field.
A close game got out of their grasp in the season opener against the Alouettes when Jay Barker threw an interception to Irv Smith, run for a touchdown. The Argo lead evaporated. The Alouettes won. They led by 7 after 3 quarters. In Winnipeg last week, the Bombers scored 30 in the 4th quarter and won it 47-27. 46 seconds to go off the kickoff, and Curtis Jackson taken down by Kevin Thornell. And the Argos with a 10-point lead.
Thornell comes up and makes a great play, closes on Curtis Jackson with a purpose. Makes a great open field tackle.
Thornell in the lineup, given all the injuries to other receivers. Mitch Running, who came over in that trade from Winnipeg, out.
He looked like a DB there, Rod. He got a head in front. He hit him low, finished through the tackle, tackled through him, and took Curtis Jackson down very nicely.
Happy with that tackle. On special teams, Danny McManus on first down. Morreale. Antonius Bonner is right there. Short gain for the Ticats. It'll be 2nd and long. We have an update on Rob Hitchcock. Let's go to David Amber. David.
Rod, they are currently taping up the right quadricep of Rob Hitchcock. The physicians are working on him. He's in a considerable amount of pain. He's got a lot of blood on his uniform as well. It's undetermined whether he'll be back yet. They're working on him right now, and hopefully he'll be back for the Ticats. Obviously, they need him in there. Back to you.
Thank you, David. Tremendous athlete. Product right from Glendale High School in Hamilton. Drive for the first down. It looks like he might be a little bit shy. Furthest progress getting to about the 37-yard line, which is where the sticks are for the first down. And the quarter comes to an end. The Argos lead after 3, taking a 10-point lead into the 4th quarter. Now let's go to James Dufton.
You're watching Adidas Friday Night Football, and we're at the quarter. Brought to you by 1-800-HI-IT'S-ME. It's the cheapest way to call. Collect.
All right, so the big strategic move was to take out Barker and put in Kemp. Let us assume that Barker is not hurt. Do you agree with that move?
Well, the first time when I saw Kemp come in there, I really didn't understand what it was all about. But when you look at how he played and some of his indecision, like he had a real hard time finding receivers. You can't take your 4 receivers out for a change. You can't take your offensive linemen out as a group for a change. You have to isolate your quarterback. I think he's struggling in terms of protection, because if you watch this play with Jimmy Kemp, he knows exactly the weakness backside in this protection. Lamar McGriggs has a free shot, and really Kemp, out of instincts, really is able to evade McGriggs, buys space, buys time, and then what a wonderful catch by Tyrone Brown to the outside towards the sidelines. Right now, Jimmy Kemp understands the protection, the weakness of the protection, not the strength, and that's the difference. So it's kind of like a situational thing more than an athletic or based on ability thing.
Isn't it, though, a big blow to Barker's confidence?
No, it can't be. I mean, you have to be mentally tough. If you get taken out of a football game, well, you're just like a cornerback. You have a bad period of time, you reevaluate the next day. So if Jay Barker cannot respond from this, then he doesn't deserve to be a quarterback, James.
All right, somebody has to question you with Dunnigan not being here, so I thought I'd give it a shot anyway. 1 quarter left in play. The Argos defense doing most of the damage so far. They have the lead. 15 minutes to go. Let us send you back to Skydome. Here are Rod and Matt.
Thank you, James. And you got to wonder what this guy's thinking. Jim Barker's still looking for win number 1, and he's been in this situation before, heading to the 4th quarter with a lead.
Talked to him yesterday. He feels they can come out and win here. They're in 2nd place, ahead of Hamilton, because they beat them head-to-head, and they're both 1 and 2. So as poorly as the first 2 games have gone for them, and how quickly they turned around in Winnipeg last week in the 4th quarter, he still feels very confident that they win this football team. They're right back in the thick of things, and they're ready to rock and roll.
And keeps them within striking range of those Alouettes, off to a 3-0 start. Montreal beating Winnipeg last night. Early on in the season, they look like the team, although they only beat the Ticats by 6, and they only beat the Argos by 3 a couple of weeks ago. Things look fairly close in this East Division. McManus throws off to his right. It's complete to Flutie on the 1st and 10. A look at the statistics following 3 quarters. Brought to you by Castrol GTX. Drive hard.
That looks like a quarter of football to me right there, except for the one right down here in the bottom. You know, that's the only thing deceiving. Everything else up here, folks, looks like a quarter of football to me. 24 yards rushing by Hamilton, 44 yards rushing by Toronto. Only 5 first downs for Hamilton. That's first quarter statistics, not 3 quarters. It's amazing how well these defenses are playing. It should be a great indication to everybody watching just how strong these two defenses are when you've only got 15 first downs combined by both clubs in 3 quarters of football.
That is remarkable, especially in the Canadian Football League. And they brought the sticks out to measure this one on the first down play. Flutie nearly had the first down, or did he? The nose of the football coming awfully close. And it'll be second and just inches to go about the nose of the football. Allen. They're up near their 50, so they have good field position to work with, and down by 10. Lots and lots of time to go. If Danny McManus could just turn this thing around, it's not been a very good game for him, to say the least. The handoff to Williams has that and more. Easy first down across midfield down to the Argo 50.
Yeah, as bad as Hamilton has been, in the first quarter, they're tremendous in the fourth quarter. They are strong finishers. You look at them here, Hamilton's best quarter is obviously the fourth, 27-9 right there, outscoring the opposition. Toronto, on the other hand, that's been their nightmare. 30-3, they've been outscored. Let's see what happens here tonight.
What's so interesting about that is both of those quarters, the big quarters and the bad quarter, happen at Winnipeg Stadium. Bombers victimized by the Ticats and then blowing out the Argos last week. That pass complete again for McManus, and it's Trevor Shaw with the catch. It'll be second down.
Already it seems like that's Trevor Shaw's forte, is catching the ball underneath, and making those small catches and turn them into major first downs. He's a go-to guy for Danny McManus. He saw him a lot last week, and he had a tremendous game, came up big for the Tiger Cats, and I see him being a go-to guy for Danny Mac the entire season, catching balls just like that.
Second and 7 from the Argonaut 49. McManus out of the shotgun. To Moriali. First down Hamilton. Inside the Argo 40. Ticats, over 13 minutes to go, are on the move.
Danny Mac feels Michael O'Shea coming right there. Short arms it. Throws a strike to Moriali. Moriali makes a tough catch going in the middle. Knowing he's fixing to get struck there by Glenn Young. Picks up a critical first down. Excuse me. That was a critical first down, wasn't it, Ryan?
I think they're all critical at this point, aren't they? McManus back to pass again. Looking deep, but overthrows Andrew Grigg by a lot. And it'll be second down and 10, Ticats.
Yeah, some miscommunication there between Andrew and Danny McManus. I look on the boundary. Andrew's running right up the football field here on the sidelines. Taking off. Looks like he's kind of settling down. Kind of gears down a little bit, and Danny McManus doesn't feel like he's supposed to do that, and kind of throws it where nobody can catch it and live to play another down.
And here that down comes. Big second down. Complete. And a big hit as soon as Moriali takes it. Adrian Smith right on him. Not much of a gain at all. It'll be third and long with great coverage by Adrian Smith.
Yeah, just playing, they're bringing people off the edge, and they're just playing zone on the outside, reading it, and then he comes off and makes the quick hit on Mike Moriali. Initial pop kind of knocks him off his feet, then goes and gets him again and wraps him up. Just playing everything underneath, knowing that it's a second and long situation, coming up, making him throw short, and making the clean tackles. It's good, smart football. That's why there's only 15, 16 first downs and well over 3 quarters of football we've seen here tonight.
It is a good example of that, and with that, in fact, a loss of about a foot. So Paulus Baldiston, to see if he can whittle this Argo lead down to 7, will try a field goal from 47 yards away. He's got lots of leg. But this one is wide to the left. And Pinball Clements is carrying it out and has a pretty good return. Look at the pinball go up near the 30-yard line. And the Argo fans love it. Ticats move the ball, but they come up empty. 21-11. The veteran Pinball Clements with a big return after a missed field goal. And Matt, the Argos have room to breathe.
Just electrifying. Guys that are used to putting moves on other people. You've got Joe Mumford being faked out right here. Can't get a beat on Mike Pinball Clements. Then he goes up in another hole, takes it another 20 yards, and boom! Darren Flutie is just totally sat down. It's like, sit down, and he gets around, and he's just electrified this crowd and got the crowd back into this ball game.
Many a would-be tackler has had to go back to that spot and pick up the shoes and put them back on again, trying to tackle the pinball. A 33-yard return after the Osbaldiston miss on a 47-yard field goal attempt. And down towards 11 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. Jimmy Kemp goes to work with a 10-point lead. Still in for Jay Barker. That one incomplete. Attempted for number 28, Dwayne DeMatrician. So Kemp's still in the ball game. We never heard, Matt, exactly why Jay Barker was out, or they would not identify the problem if there was one.
I think that's strictly confidential. I don't think we're going to get that information. But Jimmy Kemp doesn't look very comfortable in the pocket there. Threw a ball with, you know, some indecisiveness right there, and he's got to settle down here. His team's got a lead, but just as Jay Barker was in there, control the ball offensively. Don't be silly with it.
He was 6 for 12 last week in the fourth quarter in Winnipeg. That one's complete. Kevin Thornell with it and takes some punishment. Calvin Tingle there finishing off. They pick up a few yards, but it will be third down, and the Argos will be punting it away.
Not a bad situation to be in. You know, put your defense back out there. Yeah, they're tired. You'd like to move the chains, give them a breather, but, you know, first downs are hard to come by right now, Rod, so defense is going to win this game here tonight.
As Kemp and Barker talk things over on the sideline, Noel Prefontaine is in, standing at about his 15.
He's had a good night punting the football.
He sure has, averaging over 51 yards per punt, and if field position means anything, as well as Osbaldiston has been kicking, Prefontaine has made some difference tonight. Not a bad punt, and a good return straight up the middle for Curtis Jackson after a 44-yarder, a little under average, but Hamilton football, they're down by 10. There's some homegrown product on these Hamilton Tiger Cats, and there you see two of them. Corey Grant, number 2, Mike Moriali, number 18. But look at this, Matt. 7 members of the Ticats from the Hamilton area. Grant actually from Stony Creek, just outside, but that is remarkable in this day and age in the CFL.
Yeah, it's just a tremendous opportunity for Hamilton to get close to their players and for folks to come out, and that's why they're drawing good crowds over there in Hamilton right now.
A couple of them not playing in Jared Smith and Obi Spence. Pass is knocked down. More good defensive play by the Argos at the line, batting away the pass by Danny McManus. It's Glenn Young, number 59.
Everybody's taking their turns and making exceptional plays on both sides of the defenses. I tell you what I see right here is Danny McManus not exploding back from underneath the center to create separation between himself and the oncoming rush, and therefore he gets hands in his face.
So he works out of the shotgun inside his 40. Corey Grant, and there was nothing but pay dirt ahead.
Nearly. He had him. He had him wide open. Just one that Corey would want back.
Number 30, Wayne Shaw.
Throws a strike. Look at Danny's footwork. He goes to the gun. He's got everything coming into it. Looks like David Wells coming over the top there, bringing the heat. Throws a strike to Corey Grant.
You're right. He did have him.
Just on the money. That is a money ball. Hits him right in the breadbasket. Big difference.
And the kind of night McManus has had, wow, how much does that hurt? What could have been a touchdown instead turns out to be a punt, and a very nice punt by Osbaldiston. Blunt back inside his 15, and out of bounds he goes at the 23. But another bad turn of events for the Ticats, who at the very least had a huge gain that Corey Grant hung on to that football. You like football, stick around, because even after this game, we're just halfway there. It's doubleheader night on Adidas Friday Night Football, and we're heading off to Taylor Field in Regina. John Wells and Glenn Suter will have that one for you. The BC Lions hosting the Grey Cup this year, and they want to play in that game. They're off to the good start at 2-0 against the 0-2 Saskatchewan Roughriders. That's all coming up. Adidas Friday Night Football on TSN. still got lots of time left in this one, however. 9:25 to go in the fourth quarter. McManus saw what might have been there. They are still trailing by 10 points. The Argos go to work at their 22. Kemp fakes, bootlegs, goes around to the right, and he doesn't pick up much. He gets across the 25 to about the 27.
Tell you, I don't know if it's their offense that is, is just playing poorly. I think it's more a feather in Hamilton Tiger Cats defensive cap. They are just flying to the ball. He Sally Rans. He comes on a naked boot on the outside. He chooses to do this. He fakes the run right here. He's got the corner, but before you know it, they give it to you, and then they take it away. Look at Joe Higgins' close on that. That's tremendous defensive play right there.
So 2nd and 5 after the pickup. Kemp completes it to Andre Kerwan. First down Argos up at their 40.
Good looking play, Jimmy Kemp. Good looking throw. Throws with timing, threw in the hole, did not wait till the receiver was open. He threw him open. It's an excellent job. There's a quick peek at it coming right at you. Jimmy looks to his left first, comes back to his right, throws right in the hole. He's got Andre Kerwin sitting there. Steps up very nicely. Tackle takes his man out and around. That's good offensive football. Glad to see it here tonight. From few and far between.
Midway through the fourth quarter, a big play for the Argos. Darren Joseph with the football. A big play before, though, to set up that first down. Short yardage by Joseph. The veteran picks up about a yard. And Joseph stays in the game. Jim Barker talking over with his receivers coach Jeff Fairholm, former Argo and of course longtime Saskatchewan Rough Rider. Out of the shotgun, 2nd and long. Kemp has time. Gets off to the left, still has time. Can't find anybody and throws it away. And so the Argos will punt. So Kemp heads off, somewhat frustrated because he did have some time.
It's just cover 3 double cut, and they're cutting the corners to both sides. That's all it is they take both cornerbacks and they bring them up in the flat territory. They take both halfbacks and they push them back in the deep outside thirds of the football field. And they have the free safety in the middle. They just do a good job of covering folks and covering the area in their zone and make it happen and make it difficult on Kemp to find anybody.
The 10th punt of the game for Noah Prefontaine. Another beauty. A laser down to the Ticat 10. And that's Parker with it. Gets maybe a 5-yard return. J.P. Darsh in on the tackle once again. Another beautiful punt by Prefontaine. His Argos still up by 10. 6:47 to go. Past the midway point of this fourth quarter, and the Argos are hanging on, leading the Tiger Cats by 10. We look at our game story, Matt.
Danny McManus is not having the night, is having another tough night. Say it like it is. Jay Barker is out, and we don't know why. They got that locked down there and not giving out that information. Adrian Smith, coming up with a big play, 21-yard reception for a touchdown.
McManus back to work again under pressure. They've got him. Jermaine Haley wrapped up the legs, and they take him down. And that Argo defense seems to be getting stronger as this game goes on.
I haven't seen the defenses look weak. They're doing a great job. Just right in the middle of your screen, folks. You've got them right here. Just look at them get pressure. It's just want to and desire to get up to the quarterback. Just getting off the ball. Makes an inside move, swims up over the top. Left Danny Mack up by the feet.
And that one falls incomplete. Intended for Corey Grant. And so Tiger Cats in a 3rd down situation once again, about 3rd and 15.
You're looking at the play here, but while this is going on, let me say this. Often people talk about the interceptions that a quarterback has. They'll talk about the 5 he had last week, the 2 he had this week. Well, in game 1, he had the touchdown pass that was not there. Archie Anderson. Game 2, he had a touchdown dropped or not called because of Darren Fluty's fumble with Irv Smith hitting crossing the goal line. Game 3, Corey Grant drops another touchdown. So those are 3 TDs he should have had, as well as those interceptions he's chalked up.
It's a good point. Tiger Cats and the 11th punt of the game for Paul Osbaldiston from his end zone. Needs a good one and does get a pretty good punt. Eric Blunt at midfield. Stays inside and knifes his way across the 45, but Argo's in good field position after a 45-yard punt. Once again down to the sidelines for David Amber. David?
Rod, Matt, a very good crowd tonight at Skydome. 25,558 very passionate and enthusiastic CFL fans. A bipartisan crowd, as always, when these two teams meet. But a great game seen by all these fans. And that's more than the attendance that the Argos had last year in both occasions when the Ticats visited the Skydome. So that's good news for the Argonaut club. Back to you.
It certainly is, and maybe things are getting back to the stage slowly. When you were here before, of course, back then they were getting upwards over 40, but there's more energy in the stands tonight than I've heard in a long time.
Well, Adrian's back at quarterback here, but I'm watching this unfold. I look at, the crowd here, and that's just the worm is turning. The Canadian Football League is a hot commodity, and people are coming out and supporting it.
Out of that short yardage, double tights, they run it straight up the gut. Was that Jermaine Haley with the football? Adrian Smith comes in and quarterback in that situation, but you can never tell who's doing what in this formation.
Rod, how can you not have a good time when they throw parties like they throw here prior to the game? How can you not want to come out here and experience this with the CN Tower, the roof open, this fantastic facility, beautiful cheerleaders, great football being played? This is just a heck of a package they put together here.
And Argo fans could have a chance to go home happy. Toronto can hang on. Same formation. Little tricky stuff. Darren Joseph has the ball. It was a quick handoff to Eric Blunt, who in turn gave it to Joseph right away afterwards, and they gained about 5 yards, close to a first down, Matt.
Yeah, you're looking at all 24 players in an 8-yard radius here, and they're creating space by doing this. It's kind of reverse psychology. You squeeze everybody down, and then you open up space. They did it in San Francisco with Jerry Rice. You often see him play on the inside, and then he shoots out in the flat, and there's an open space. Right here, they just run a little counter. It's almost a reverse. They get flow going one way, and then they come back hand underneath, and they trick the defense for once in this formation. It's a well-designed play and executed, and puts them in a 3rd and short situation, a very critical part of this ball game.
And the ball carrier, Darren Joseph, the ultimate ball carrier, the one that took it from Blunt, is favoring a leg now as he lies down in the field. Look at what happened, Matt, as Joseph went down on the play.
Yeah, you're not sure if it's the turf. A lot of times the turf can get it, but it just looks like he had his ankle rolled on there. And a lot of times that can be caused by the turf. They call it the turf monster for a good reason. It can grab your legs and your shoes and your grip and make you turn in funny ways that your body's not supposed to do. And then when you got people putting pressure on you as well, trying to tackle you and take you out of your shoes, it's a difficult situation to be in. I hope Darren's going to be all right.
Here's the situation now. It is 3rd and less than a yard. But the Argos have been lining up in field goal position. A 42-yard attempt. Jimmy Kemp put it down for Dan Giancola. He had a 47-yarder in the first quarter of this game. And this would be for a 13-point lead. The ball spotted. The kick's far enough, but it is wide to the left. And the Ticats down by 10, running around Corey Grant. Is he thinking about taking it out? He is. And he is getting it out. Corey Grant is still going. Giancola, the only one who can catch him, and he doesn't. Corey Grant.
No flags either.
No flags. Touchdown, Hamilton. And there's the touchdown for Grant to make up for the drop before.
That's Canadian football right there, baby. That is beautiful. That's what this league is all about, ladies and gentlemen. Going for the nail in the coffin to go up by 13. Instead, the team returns it out and goes 110 yards to put them right back in the game. There's a look at it, folks. He takes it 15 yards deep in the end zone. Looked like a possible clip right there. He got away with it. people working downfield, making it, wanting to make it happen. Giancolo's got the only chance. Been in that situation before, diving after people's heels, getting a cloud of dust. That's an ugly feeling. That's a heck of a return.
With the convert, good. It's a 10-point swing. What could have been a 13-point lead for the Argos after the missed field goal and the touchdown by Corey Grant. It is now just a 3-point lead, and Jim Barker can feel it again. And this, a special teams mishap for the Argos, the kind that hadn't hit them earlier in this game, but did in Winnipeg badly. Another return for a touchdown. And one of those Hamilton area natives, Corey Grant. He had dropped that pass that could have gone for 6 earlier that Matt talked about. Talk about making amends. And that long end zone return. Touchdown Ticats, 3:14 on the clock. I'd say we have a game.
This is so typical of the Canadian Football League. I just love it. I haven't seen this stuff for 2 years, folks. Don't take this stuff for granted. This is tremendous entertainment. Corey Grant had to run 150 yards to get 110 because he had to dodge everybody in the end zone before he could even start his 110-yard sprint.
Another look at a touchdown and has got the Ticats right back into this game, Matt.
Going east to west, trying to buy some time. Help me out here, fellas. Give me some blocks. All right, I got this. Give me a block right here, Griggs. There you go. I'm working the best. Now, if I can't beat this guy out, I'll never be able to go back in the Hamilton Tiger locker room again. Giancolo, you can't get tackled by the kicker. And of course, if it was Hank Olisic, Hank would have had that tackle.
The old teammate with the
That is a long haul for that young man right there. He looks like he feels like he just ran a mile instead of 150 yards.
What's up, baby? Representing.
Product of Wilfrid Laurier University. Great receiver there.
Says he's representing. He sure did that play, didn't he?
What's up, boys? Working hard.
You'd never know it, looking at the face of Ron Lancaster, if he's up 20 or down 20. He's down by 3, but very much in a ball game that looked to be slipping away just moments ago. The Tiger Cats will kick it off, down by just a field goal, close to the 3-minute warning. And the Argonauts, with an offense that has struggled at the best of times to move the football, trying to hang on. And Skydome is rocking right now. Adrian Smith with the football. Taken down, but the crowd into this game more than any point. And you know there are a lot of Ticat fans that we talked about earlier coming down the road for this one, but Jimmy Kemp still coming on. Jay Barker still on the sidelines. We are assuming an injury, but we've had no confirmation of that. And Kemp has struggled.
Here, Chris Schelling. He's playing the entire game on defense. You got to run down and cover kicks here. Look at him, just grabs some shirt right here and pulls him down. Just tremendous effort. You know, it's just got it's a want to, folks. You only got 39 people on the roster. Nobody can take his position on special teams. You're on defense, go right back out there and do it again and make tackles.
Big drive, Argonauts now on 1st and 10. For Kerwan, no good. 2nd down. Orlando Steinhauer on the coverage. And under 3 minutes to go, 2:43 on the clock. The 3-minute warning is sound. The rookie Corey Grant has the Ticats back into this game. We'll be back. Got an exciting finish coming up here, but stick around even after that. Doubleheader night on Adidas Friday Night Football off to Regina. John Wells, Glenn Suter. And the BC Lions looking to stay undefeated, taking on the winless Saskatchewan Roughriders. Second half of the doubleheader coming up on TSN.
True to their colors. You know, we talked about the first quarter, Hamilton struggling. They no points there. Toronto being good out of the chute for once. Fourth quarter, Hamilton's quarter. They get let's hold it true to form right here, folks.
Well, they set up the screen, and it's no good. Jimmy Kemp tried to set it up, I believe, to pinball Clemens, but falls incomplete. And at a critical point in time, the Argos will have to punt it away deep in their own zone.
Yeah, you've got Mumford right down here in a 3-point, right in front of Higgins. He's coming, putting pressure. So we had Cummins there. Joe was just one gap removed. Couldn't see him on the screen there. He comes with speed. He's not even touched to the quarterback. Rush rushes Jimmy a little bit, throws off the time into the screen.
Prefontaine inside his 10. Not his best punt of the night. With that, down to the Ticat 45. Curtis Jackson to midfield and across. So 3 points shy. The Ticats are one intermediate pass, you might say, to setting up a field goal. Danny McManus coming on, and for all the bad things that have happened tonight, Matt, it could all be forgotten with a good drive right here.
How many times can I go to bat for this guy? I can go to bat for this guy a lot because I believe in him. You know, he hasn't played well the last couple of games, the last 7 quarters. You know, he's got 213 left here. He's in a short field. See if he can work some of his magic. I saw Flutie talking to him earlier on the sideline, see if they've devised anything.
Ball's on the Argo 53, 2:13 on the clock. McManus to pass. Looks to his right, has a man, complete. Darren Flutie's got it. Maybe they did cook something up. It's down to the 46.
Didn't have a choice there. Argos are bringing some pressure, and Danny Mac had to get rid of it. Threw a ball that kind of hung up in there, but he threw it so quickly with timing that Darren had a chance to pull it down and kind of duck and get you 5 or 6, put you in a good second and short situation.
A 2nd and 3. And a handoff. Williams, not enough. But enough for a field goal try. He gets across the 45. He needed to get down to the 43. What would be looking at about a 50-yard attempt.
Yeah,
We
this
have a
is an
timeout.
interesting call. 3rd and short. You know, it's a long field goal, so your percentages decrease there. You know, do you go for the 3rd and short situation, or do you rely on your all-pro kicker, Paul Osbaldiston, who, you know, won the Eastern Final for him on a 53-yarder last year in the outdoor elements, and in the wind and terrible conditions and whatnot. Now your situation here looks like he's chosen to go with the latter.
He will try it. From about 52 yards away, he had that long one you mentioned last year. His longest 2 years ago, the longest of his career, 57 yards. For the tie, Osbaldiston. Long enough, it's good.
He had 10 yards to spare on that one.
And another Argonaut 4th quarter lead has evaporated. A new ball game with 1:40 to go, 21-21.
We talked about it earlier, how important the center and the holder were to make the kicker have an opportunity to kick the ball. Perfect job by Holden, by Darren Flutie. Laces out towards the goal post, and Ozzie does all the rest, and they're talking about how good they are right there. That was nicely done.
The performance of the Argonaut defense and special teams to this point in time has taken a lot of pressure off that Toronto offense, but now they need it. Under 2 minutes to go, they'll be getting the football, and they have not been able to do much with either Jay Barker or Jimmy Kemp at quarterback. Now in a tie game, coming into the quarter with a 10-point lead.
You gotta love this, don't you?
Absolutely.
It's unbelievable.
Is it this point in time where you wish you were down on that field?
Oh, I'm having a good time right here.
Yeah.
But this is just fun to watch.
I know it's not those moments when you see Joe Montford burying some quarterbacks, but Osbaldiston, after tying the game, kicks it off, and the pinball, Mike Clemens, takes it on his 15. What a finish we're in for. Look at the moves by Clemens. Still on his feet as he gets up across the Argo 30 to the 32.
Let's see who comes out this time. Bringing out Jimmy Kemp, number 15. Mike Pinball Clemens did it to Kyle Walters once again on that punt return. Set him down. I mean, understand this, folks. Mike Pinball Clemens can make you miss in a phone booth, let alone on a 65-yard wide Canadian Football League field. Right there it is. It's just amazing how he moves around.
That was a big set of downs before. It just keeps getting bigger in a tie game. Jimmy Kemp from his 32 out of the shotgun on first down. Throwing and completing the pass. And it's Andre Kerwan with it.
That sounded good on the sideline, didn't it? Hearing that at home, folks.
But as it comes in and the Argos in a hurry-up offense, that a gain of about 6 yards.
I think this is the dimension that they can go to with Jimmy Kemp in there as opposed to Trey Barker.
He hands it off. Good gain, Eric Flood. He's got a first down. And the running game that's been non-existent for the Argos works for them there as the sticks will move. Clock standing at 1:28 here at Skydome.
Well, again, it's tempo, and the offense is dictating the tempo of the game to the defense right now. And you got a quarterback with a little more experience in there, Jimmy Kemp, and he's running this effectively.
Here's Kemp. Standing in the pocket. Montfort has the pressure. And Philbrick was there, but it's Joe Montfort carrying his sack once again at a big moment in this game. Loss for the Argos.
Let's just look at Joe Montfort. They're just working out here, folks. Right out here, standing on space. So he's got a lot of room to work with this man right here. Takes an inside move, basically untouched to the quarterback. He'll take those all day. He's working well on his 21 sack total from last year.
2nd and 18. It's caught by Andrew English. It is a catch, his first of the day, but it is shy of a first down, about 5 yards shy. They get the ball up to the Argo 49, but still a long way to go before they can move the sticks again. It is 3rd down. The punting team, Noel Prefontaine, is coming out. You see the look on Jim Barker's face, Matt, wondering if his chance at his first victory is slipping away again. Argos punting the football in a tie game with barely a minute to go. Just enough time on a good return to set up another Osbaldiston field goal, perhaps. Or perhaps some overtime.
It's just amazing how many chances you get in the last 3 minutes of the Canadian Football League game and how that keeps the fans in their seats. It's tremendous football. Anything can happen here, folks. Danny Mack's going to get the ball back with just less than a minute. One timeout to work with, and all he needs is a field goal to win it. A critical win for the Hamilton Tiger Cats and a devastating loss for the Argos if that was to unfold that way.
It's been a brilliant night of punting for the Argos' Noel Prefontaine. He had one, his highest, going up to 67 yards, and if ever they needed a good one, they need it right now from his 40. Nearly blocked. Great pressure, Ticats, as a result. With the roll, it's pretty good. Down to the Ticat 10. There comes Parker with flags down. Martavius Houston takes down Eurocius Parker after a 51-yard punt with that nice roll and a flag on the play that could push the Ticats even further back. Just the break the Argos would need. With 53 seconds on the clock and final instructions from one great quarterback to another. Although Danny McManus has not played like a great quarterback tonight.
Holding, Hamilton number 22, first down.
It goes against the Ticats. It pushes them down to their 6-yard line. McManus heading to the huddle in this tie game, looking to go to work. What's your strategy here?
Hurry up offense. Take what they give you. And they're going to give you something right here.
McManus hands off. Hands off to Ronald Williams, no gain.
Boy, that's the decision they made. They're playing a little passive here, maybe playing for overtime. But they're getting a pressure look here by Toronto, and they do bring the blitz, and they've got a run play called and just kind of content with possibly letting the clock run out if they can. Toronto calls timeout because they feel like they stop them here, they'll get a good field position, and now they're a chance for a possible field goal and win the game.
With the ball on the Ticats 6, and if they do not advance it any further on this 2nd and 10, Paul Osbaldiston would be standing 9 yards deep to get the punt away. Even with a good punt, there would be enough time for the Argos to get the ball into field goal range, especially on a decent return. Kind of Eric Flynn has had this kind of night.
Yeah, somebody's starting to sweat a little bit right now is Giancola for Toronto.
Absolutely. 1 to the left, 5 to the right. Out of the shotgun. Big 2nd and 10. He goes to the 1 to the left for a first down. It is Darren Flutie.
They call this a Cinco package. 5 receivers to the right and to isolate their veteran receiver Darren Flutie left. And it's just a simple isolation play, similar to what we saw early in the game by Toronto. Then just pushes the outside, makes a quick move to the inside. Danny delivers the ball on the money, on the numbers. Critical first down.
And on that first down, he throws it for Trevor Shaw, and it falls incomplete. So once again, it'll be 2nd and 10 for Danny McManus and the Ticats. 34 seconds showing on the clock here at Skydome.
Changed things in a hurry there, moving the sticks in that last 2nd and 10, didn't it?
It sure did. This 2nd and 10 is not nearly as critical as the other one was, just considering field position and time on the clock, of course. McManus looking for Flutie again. Good coverage by Adrian Smith. The Ticats want a flag, and they don't get it. They thought the coverage was a little too good.
Irregardless if you have pass interference or not, the receiver's not going to get many calls if he doesn't continue to work with the play. He just stops and is asking for the call to be made now. If he's continued through there, his chances certainly increase by to get a call in his favor. Darren's got to continue to work through that. But he may get his call his way, but when you put your arms up and just stop, more times than not, you're not going to be in the favor of the judges.
Last week in Winnipeg, the Argos special teams failed them. At this point in time, in regulation, they could win the ball game for them. Paulus Balderson from his 5 with 29 seconds to go. Good punt. Eric Blunt at his 50. Just across midfield. And with 20 seconds on the clock, there's only one element of special teams left, and that's the Argos field goal kicking unit. As Jimmy Kent comes on to see if he can get them a little bit closer. As it stands now, it would be 62 yards away. They need at least another 15.
Plenty of time here to move down the football field. Put your team, got 2, possibly 3 opportunities. Move the ball down the field, put your field goal team on there, win you a game.
15 yards would make it a 47-yarder, and Giancola has one of those tonight. Kemp over the middle, and they have it. A first down. They don't get 15, they get about 13. 14 seconds on the clock. That was Eric Blunt at the receiving end.
Plenty of time here, Rod. Get him up there. Oh, no, we got a player down. Blunt's fixing his shoe.
Ball is at the 42. It would take a 49-yarder. Kemp rolling out. Throwing. Complete. 10-ball Clements. Taken down hard. They're within Giancola's range now. Near the 35.
Yep. Get him out there. See, it's not a panic situation. They're working against the 20-second clock now, not on the 5-second clock. Because if the clock expires, the game's not over. They just got to get the ball off in 20 seconds here, folks. So they just got to take the time, get their field goal unit out there, get everybody in their proper positions to give Giancola the best opportunity to relax and concentrate and put this one through the uprights for their first win of the season.
For 6 years, Dan Giancola played semi-pro football in Buffalo. Went to school at Niagara College, getting his first shot at a pro. From 42 yards away for the Argos' first win of the season. Far enough. It's good.
Oh, good for him.
No time left on the clock.
That's the way they should end. All Toronto Hamilton games should end on the last play, just like that.
The Argos mob Dan Giancola, who's hit a 42-yarder to win the game for the Argos.
Kemp does a great job, just like Flutie gets the laces to the goal post. Oh, Giancola knew it right away. Parker looking at it. He's not sure. He's begging. Yes, he's got his first win.
His first win as a CFL head coach. And after what he's been through in the first 2 weeks, the taste is probably a little sweeter. And sweet for that guy as well.
Giancola thought he was celebrating a soccer goal there, running around the field. Thought he'd take his shirt off, give us a little shot of a Nike bra or something there. But that was unbelievable drama. That's great. You can see the weight of the world being lifted off of this gentleman's shoulders right there. Jim Barker just looking up to the Sky Dome roof, thanking the Lord that they've got their first win.
And it looked like it was slipping away earlier on after the Corey Grant return for the touchdown and then a Osbaldiston field goal to tie it.
Hey, where's the mark?
Argos win it by 3 on the last play of the game. Now back to Adidas Friday Night Football Control.